Welcome, my friends, to this tea time, and this is the first one after the recent patch on Tuesday that has brought us amazing things, such as the Warclaw and the true Might God Ellie being extended out now to us. We've joined the future, and so there's a good chunk to talk about. And we actually look here we have with us. Okay, we've got some experts in the field. We've got Roy. He's actually a mount connoisseur, guys. Okay, right? He knows everything about it.
Mount.
He's got all the skins. Okay, all the skins. He has mastered them completely and expert in using engage skills. Okay. Here he is to talk to us, and of course we got the gods of PvE on the other side as well. Snowcrow's Nico, and obviously Nike. Okay, so we've got amazing stuff, guys. We've got it all covered here. Balance patch and the Warclaw. Roy is actually only here for the first half of the show, roughly, guys. So we're gonna kind of go. We're gonna make the most of him. Okay, while we have him. Okay, so we've got to get on it. We've got to get on that immediately, and so I think let's talk about the impacts on world versus world that have happened first. Okay, and with regards to the mount as well, and it also has been rebalanced already. Actually, they actually obliterated it. I feel so bad.
I would not say that. But...
I feel so bad for the mount, man. I anthropomorphized the mount a bit, and it got absolutely destroyed. But why don't you tell us a little bit about that, Roy? Actually, what are your feelings about the mount when you actually saw its abilities in the game and how powerful they were, and did they have much of an impact into the actual gameplay of World versus World?
So it's honestly, I think it's a little hard to say because this week is going to be a lot different than I think the next couple of weeks will be, because there were a lot more people playing than there will be. Already you can see like queues going down a lot. The first day, Tuesday, when the patch hit, it was like 100-man queues on every border on a ton of servers, which is insane. I mean, it was like I was saying last week, it's going to be the most queues we've had since Pips got added. But it's not, they've already started going down. So, I think once the population sort of goes back to what it was a little bit before, maybe with a couple extra players, it's, we'll actually see like how much of an impact it has. Because so Friday for reset, like I tagged up, right? And we had pretty much organized fights, open field with Whiteside Ridge. I was tagging on Resisturmia, and we didn't really use mounts at all. We didn't really engage with mounts at all. And so, in that case, it didn't really affect the gameplay at all. But then, also on Tuesday, I was playing around with people, and I mean, you just saw groups get one shot by mounts, and this was, of course, before the one got nerfed. And it was way too strong. So I do have to credit ArenaNet, probably Ben and Raymond specifically, for nerfing and changing the one as quickly as they did. Because, so many people were just saying, oh, it's too strong, it's broken, you need to fix this. And they did. They got on it very, very quickly, which is great. They reduced the damage by 26%, and it went from 10 targets to 3 for being finished. But whether or not that's enough of a nerf, I think remains to be seen. I think that we have to look at like how groups are playing with it still. I mean, I think the biggest thing now is that besides just all the random bugs, because there's a lot of bugs. Like I was looking at the World vs. World Discord, and there were like people talking about like 3 different bugs. Like there was one where someone got downstated, but then they were still mounted, so they were running around with a mount while in downstate. And then there was like one where a guy saw himself as mounted, but no one else could, and then he couldn't unmount or something. There's a lot of really weird bugs with it, which is to be expected, I guess. But hopefully they'll get those sorted soon. But the really big thing I think for it is that it can't be CC'd. And it has a lot. I think the biggest complaint I've seen actually is from people roaming, is that you just can't roam because people just run away on your mountain. There's no way for you to stop it. It has a 12k HP pool or whatever. It can't be CC'd. It has 3 unCCable evades that have a pretty long distance. It's very, very difficult to dismount anyone. And I think that's probably will have the biggest impact on fights and combat in World versus World.
Yeah, I think John's like I don't know. I'm still not convinced about that. The engage skill actually being good, to be honest. Like the only time I've seen it like being like quote unquote broken is like when it was bugged and all like everyone's going, wow, look at all these kills it's generating. Everyone was freaking out like all these +1s. It turns out that was just a bug. Like every time the engage skill would hit, it would always generate the +1s. But like every time I've seen it, like the group was just going to destroy the other group anyway, right?
Yeah.
In this kind of situation, it's like, well, I mean, you would have killed them faster by just casting necromancer abilities on them. You know what I mean? It's just, I don't know.
I think it has made some fights faster that normally wouldn't.
Yeah,
I
I
think
don't
that
disagree.
it's a lot of people have been equating it to when there was no downstate weekend in World versus World. You know, you had fights where you'd go in, you kill people, they would insta die. You know, there was no downstate, and fights were over very very quickly. And I think it's kind of similar in some cases of that because I think there are times where you would have fights that would last a little longer, where there's maybe a bit of a more of a chance for groups to come back, and they get insta stomped by the mounts. Even if it is only 3 people, if you have 10 people jumping in on mounts, I mean, that's 30 people dying, assuming there's 30 people in downstate, of course. And it still does a decent amount of damage. I think if you have a lot of people engaging at the same time, it definitely can insta kill people still. Um, and I don't know. I'm not really a fan of anything really having a large impact on combat like that. Um, I like the idea of gap closers, but because I personally am not a fan of like ranged play and pirate ship and stuff. So I like the idea of being able to gap close with people, but I don't like the idea of gap closing and then actually one-shotting people with your mount before the actual fight really starts. Also, there was significant lag on Friday,
Nice. Well, I mean,
and I
of
don't
course, though, right? I mean,
I don't
there were so many
right. So
players, no?
there's well, I don't know, and that's kind of why, like I was saying, I think we want to wait till like next week and stuff because reset is always significantly laggier than any other day of the week. But it felt a lot worse this reset than any other reset than I've been at in a really long time. And I don't know if that was because of mounts. I don't know if that was because there were extra players, although there shouldn't have been because there's always queues on reset. So I'm hopeful that it's not because of mounts, but I mean, there were some people saying that like they weren't even able to load other mounts in, at a certain render distance. They were just lagging too badly. It was, so it may seem that mounts are causing some lag issues, and
Uh,
I hope that's not the case.
I'm not. it's very difficult to say if this is like fully true or not, of course. But I heard that they actually turned the player cap down because of the mounts by about 10%. I
Really?
think. Yeah.
Hmm.
Yeah, that's what I heard. They actually reduced the amount of
Okay.
players in World vs. World because of the
Per map.
fiesta of a situation, right?
Hmm.
Yeah, because well, obviously it's extra resources need to be assigned to handling all of that chaos as well. But yeah, now the one thing in chat with everyone's complaining about is certainly about roaming, and I think it's certainly true that like roaming has got kind of wrecked. But I don't know.
Yeah.
In a way, it's very difficult to define what roaming is. Like, I think the kind of roaming that has been killed by this is effectively like is almost like ganking. And to be honest, I don't really care about that. The small scale stuff, I don't know. Surely the best part of roaming was like the jewels, etc. Like, that's not actually
Well,
going anywhere. Like, I
but I
mean,
don't think roaming and duels are the same thing, and I think a lot of people who roamed would disagree. I mean, maybe it's ganking, but like that's what they want to do. I mean,
yeah.
it's legitimate. I would never say that
Isn't it?
ArenaNet should balance anything around roaming. By the way,
Yeah.
I was pointing it out that roaming has certainly lost some.
Well,
Well, if it had any,
that's kind of what I mean. Though. Like,
players.
I don't. It's just it's kind of like I don't really understand. I guess I just don't really get it, right? Like the small scale stuff. I guess it's I could like the idea of like oh yeah, we can do a small scale fight like 5v5 or 10v10 or something like that. Like like 5v10. We're gonna outplay them really hard, but. I don't know. In my mind, like all that stuff doesn't really get affected by it as such, like by the mount. Like, because if people are going to run away from you, if they're going to actually try and run away, they're probably not a very good fight anyway. So like, what's the point? Like
But then
why?
what are you gonna put in your sick montage?
Well,
Teapot?
well, yeah, I don't know. Maybe I'm just being a bit cynical here, but I just don't get it. Like, why? I don't know. I don't want to. I'm sorry, dude. Like, if that base ranger, like with his like bear pet and longbow, is going to run away from me, I'm not that upset about it. Like, even he's not going to be able to do anything.
Clearly,
about it, right?
you don't
It's
play
just-
World v World for the grief factor,
Yeah.
which is like the number one motivator of the guy playing like thief, perma stealth thief. Like his entire existence is to grief people that are trying to catch up with the Zerg.
Yeah.
and his fun is
Yeah.
now ruined.
Exactly, that
Completely
fun is gone.
ruined.
But I mean, still, in the smaller scale stuff, say if you got 3 players trying to gank, like, if anything, the mount maybe even enables this a bit more, because if you knock them off the mount, they get CC'd. So like, if you want to hard gank people, just play like a power class, right? Like, that's one backstab. In War vs. World, everything is really busted. So I really don't understand like the roaming argument, because like one fucking thief backstab and you're off that mount and you're dead, right? You are insta dead as well, right? Okay, or even condition burst can do it, honestly. If you're on your Scourge, you can probably like, one-shot someone and get them off the mount, like with enough condies from range. I really don't get the roaming thing. As in like it's killed roaming. I know, like you can still gank really easily. I don't know. It's really weird. Yeah, if you're playing like melee, if you're a warrior, then you're fucked, right? I mean, they're just gonna walk away from you, and you're not gonna be able to do anything. You'll be too slow. You won't be able to get them. But with a lot of the popular roaming classes, it's pretty easy, right? To kind of knock them off. So I don't know. I do get it though. I will happily grant the fact that roaming has been compromised. I can definitely see it. But another thing is like maybe Arena is actually trying to, in a way, provide some direction to the game mode, right, of World versus World. Like for a long time, it's been a very sandboxy game mode, and I'm not sure if a sandbox game mode is particularly good in the context of Guild Wars 2, right? Because it's a more casual environment. I think a bit of
the community will just poop in the sandbox, and treat it like a litter box. Like that's what'll happen. Like they have no self-control.
Yeah. I think a little bit of a hand-holding is maybe a good thing as well. A little bit of direction to the game mode might work out well. So I don't know. I can definitely see it being maybe providing some kind of teaching people what it's actually about. Right? Yeah, it's more about zerging, capping stuff, and sieging rather than being completely free form, people just going crazy all over the place, right? I don't know. I think it's I think it might be good, and a bit more direction, pushing it towards that would be thing, because I think that's how the majority of people play it anyway, right? Is more of that kind of large scale, like ultimately Karma Train, Clown Fiesta. That's one of the weirdest things I've actually experienced. I never thought I would see this again. Actually, all the servers on the first few days, right after the mount release, were just running around in circles. I couldn't fight. I was trying to play, right, and I was trying to bash into the other server, and the servers just kept running away, right? I don't know. It was
very reminiscent of like 4 or 5 years ago, when you had like a lot of specific groups that just karma trained and never fought. And for the last couple of years, most of the big groups in World vs. World now are fighting. Like that's most of what people do now is fighting. People don't tend to like siege up and karma train anymore. But yeah, with this patch, I mean, it makes sense. I'm not really that surprised. People wanted them out, so go flip your tower, go flip your keep, and then you leave and you go back to PvE,
AFK.
but
Yeah,
or whatever. Yeah, yeah. But
But do you think that sort of thing might be good though? Like, to maybe to nudge the player base, right, in a certain direction with regards to what would give it a more concrete purpose, concrete direction when it comes to
I've been saying for a long time you need goals for World versus World, and if there was some sort of thing like every couple of weeks where they're like, hey, go into World versus World and you can unlock this thing or something, some sort of World versus World exclusive thing, which was I think their kind of idea with a lot of the weekend events, and it only is going to increase population for a few days or a week or whatever, and for the remainder of the extent of the event. And obviously, getting them out is very, very easy. Other than completing the reward track if you don't have potions. But I think that other than population imbalance, the biggest thing that World vs. World suffers from is lack of goals, lack of things to do. And the only people that have been consistently playing it are the people who were playing it before the rewards came out. The people who were playing it that just enjoy fighting and stuff. And that's, again, why you see most people that play World vs. World now are the ones going for fights, because that's the most interesting thing to do in World vs. World. And the people who used to sit in keeps for 12 hours a day and scout them, and the people who used to, siege stuff up and like try to flip other stuff and really try to win matchups that hard. There's not as many of those people anymore, because it just doesn't mean anything and there's no goal to work towards. And so, yeah, I think World vs. World definitely needs that. And this mount was kind of an example of that, because it was a very, very small short-term goal to work towards. But again, it was just it's not going to last.
I think this is a bit of a. I think this actually speaks to the entire game mode, so we can bring in the other half of the screen here. Actually, a big problem in the entirety of Guild Wars 2, in my opinion, is that there's a lot of very short-term goals, right? And there's a lot of very long-term goals, but there's not a lot of medium-term goals in the game, in my opinion, and that's where this whole plan for World vs. World is going to it's going to fall apart a little bit, because you're seeing this massive influx of players, which is already slowly reducing as people kind of get it and then leave, right? But there's nothing for them in the midterm, right, to actually do in World versus World. For example, suppose they wanted to go for the armor, right? Okay, you need 2k rank for the armor. That is, I mean, I really like that there's something for the veteran players who play a bit more. 2,000 rank is a fair amount, right? That's a good chunk of rank. It's a good chunk of hours in the game mode, right? But regardless of that, I mean, like that for a player going into World versus World just out of nowhere. I mean, like 2k rank. I mean, you're not gonna go for that, right?
If you wanted the armor, but you never played World vs. World, like you're not gonna spend enough time in World vs. World to get 2k rank for that. There's no way.
I did that kind of.
Yeah.
Yeah, you farmed 2k rank just
not
for the armor?
Not done yet. I'm not done yet. Okay. Like I started with 800 when they released it. Now at 1.9.
I mean,
the boost is kind of helping right now.
I feel like most players aren't going to do that though, right? Like you're someone who I would consider more of like a hardcore player, even if you don't really play that much. You certainly are. You do more stuff, right? Like you do the raids and the fractals and everything, and you try to complete stuff. But like someone who does like their dailies and stuff isn't going to be attracted to World versus World to get 2k rank. So yeah, I assume that's what you mean, Teapot.
Yeah, that's what I mean, right? I just think that what the entire game needs, not just World versus World, is like more rungs on the ladder. I feel like we've got the bottom rung and then the top rung, but we don't have anything in the middle, so you can't really reach to the top, right? Unless you're incredibly tall. That's why Nico can do it.
I think the Requiem armor and the Dragon Blood weapons in the last 2 living stories are kind of like a medium range goal for most players. It's not going to be fast to get all the weapon skin, those new weapon skins.
Get all of them?
Unlocked. No. Yeah.
You'd have to do the dailies every day for like a couple months,
and then
right, or something?
one of each set of the Requiem armor. It's like it's somewhere in between like Ascended and Legendary in terms of like time and effort to get.
I mean, but I guess that begs the question.
Skins suck. Zorik is right. The skins are boring, but like some of them are actually cool. The sword or whatever is cool, but
yes,
but
that's what I was gonna say.
But it is
really
a goal.
Like,
I mean, I don't know what people want. Like, I can't even tell anymore.
If all the goals are just cosmetics, basically, like, is that, I mean, what other kind of goals could there be besides just cosmetics? Like one of the cool things about, like, in my opinion, the monthly AT is that you get something that isn't just I mean, it kind of is a skin, but you get, you get a unique title, you get a cool little gizmo floating above your head. And that is, I would say, a large goal to work towards, and that's kind of something that you don't see from the rest of the game that I think would be really cool. Like, I think it would be awesome if raids, like, especially if they did this for like community tournaments, like for Teapot's raid tournament, if you could get a unique gizmo from winning it, that would be kind of cool. That'd be neat. But just stuff like that, I think that isn't just like a sword skin, or an armor set is definitely a good goal, something that you can work towards for that. But there aren't really a lot of those.
It is very difficult to get anything that isn't a cosmetic, because that's kind of the point of the game, to a certain extent. There isn't that verticality. Like a lot of other games kind of get propped up by a level of verticality. Like, this magical sword is going to make you do 500 extra DPS or whatever, stuff like that. That it obviously can't be the case within Guild Wars 2. It is all about kind of the cosmetics and upgrading and stuff like that, and so it is this is not an easy task, right, to design this kind of reward. In a way, you kind of have to go to stuff like, I don't know, stuff like Fractal God, right? I think is a pretty good example of something like this you could set up for anything from a medium term to a long term goal. Like some of the earlier tiers of the Fractal God stuff are not that hard to get, but certainly Fractal God is a very long-term reward, and it rewards you for being invested in the game, right? Like the more you play, the more rewards you get by a teeny tiny bit. And I don't know, I think that system would actually be one that would be good to extend across into the other game modes. Like, I don't know. I think it's kind of bullshit that all you get for Ultimate Dominator is like 25 AP. I mean, like, wow. Yeah, and well, the title is cool, right? Titles are another actual good reward, in my opinion, right? But as Roy was talking about with the gizmo, right? I think that the gizmos are some of the it's a great reward. I don't think it should be used that much more than it already is, because otherwise you're going to devalue it, right? By having if they're too easy to get. But certainly like that kind of thing that is a unique reward is certainly a really big deal. Another thing that Arena needs to be careful about is just, I don't know, like the trouble with some of the rewards they put in the game is that they're just like strictly worse than stuff in the gem store as well, which is like a real like oof. It's a big oof, right? You know what I mean?
The benches, for example.
Yeah,
like the pile of gold shit you have compared with the good ones.
The pile of
Doom bench is still best in slot.
Yeah,
the Doom bench is the best.
That sort of thing, like how you were able to get, the only bench that you could get in the game was from a raid boss, and it was a drop, and that is really cool. Like I think that sort of thing is awesome. Having some sort of drop that's pretty much unique to the game. And you have to actually kill something that's potentially very difficult. I think that's very cool, and I mean maybe you add one to the gem store or something, but yeah, I mean I think stuff like that is awesome. If you like do some sort of massive achievement in World vs. World, or you win some certain amount of ranked games or something in PvP, or you can complete all the raids, and there's like special drops you can get from them. I think that would be very cool, because that'll just entice people to play more, I think, for those sort of things. Because again, if you stay like I think some people, maybe not everybody, but being sort of standing out as unique is something very cool.
Yeah.
And just having a title that a lot of people don't even notice when they walk by you isn't as good. But if you pop that gizmo up, people are gonna see it.
Now we're really in the mix when it comes to this sort of thing, actually, and I think this is where we're going to start butting heads with ArenaNet's design philosophy. Actually, in my opinion, one of the worst things about this game is that everything is interchangeable with gold. Right? That Doom bench that you got for being, oh wow, I'm so good at beating Doom. Well, it turns out you can just buy that off the trading post, right? And that's true with a huge amount of things in the game, like practically everything. Actually, you can just buy with gold, and as a result, that for a start, it never actually forces any player to go out of their comfort zone to obtain anything, right? If that makes any sense. Like, if you want to grind up basically every reward in the game just by like AFKing Istan farm 24 hours a day, you can, right? Or just get that credit card out, like get that cash money. Then you can absolutely just get everything. And I think that actually, in a way, has like rotted the disease. It's completely rotted away at the reward structure of Guild Wars 2, right? Because it just undermines the value of everything and effectively makes it valueless, actually. And that's, I think that's why it's really difficult to have a conversation about this, because anything that you can even imagine, right, putting in the game is kind of worthless, right, because of how easy it is to obtain everything, right, in the game, right? Like, thanks to it being too convenient. Like, the game is too convenient is what it comes down to, actually. The game is too nice to you. The game should force you to do specific things, right, and go on, and actually get invested in other game modes, instead of just being able to do the same thing and just just do the same thing and just farm whatever rewards you want. Yeah.
You can even buy MATs.
You can buy those MATs, dude. I mean, that you can't get that in the game, though, guys. That's naughty, right? That's very, very naughty.
Yeah, you can get in trouble.
I want to buy it.
Yeah. You want that shit, Nico? Yeah, you got some chalk egg sacks or something.
If his like crown, his whatever he has.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Yes.
Well, what are you offering, Nico? Because
Teapot's going to get carried this month by Sind, and then next month will be.
We can get a bit of a rotation going on. Like we can sort that out. So it's all it's all good. It's all good. I think that it's very difficult, and like I said, this is where you're going to start conflicting with ArenaNet's design philosophy. Like, they don't want you to have to get invested. They want you to be able to do whatever you want, right? And unfortunately, that kind of renders it pretty worthless. Like stuff like in my opinion, stuff like the Requiem armor and Dragon's Blood skins are definitely a step in the right direction in a way. Like, you actually have to undergo some actual tasks, right, about the place, and I do some days and actually do some stuff. But again, it's not exactly there's not a lot of prestige to it, right? Like, it's not unique. You're not going to feel special after you got that fucking skin, right? Especially seeing as like the skins get horrifically outclassed by basically, well, there's a few cool ones, right? But you can get a lot better stuff on the gem store, right? And no, that it's kind of
even legendary weapons don't really seem that unique. You know, I mean, everyone has Twilight. Like, everyone's running around with legendary weapons, and you know, I'm not necessarily saying they should be harder to get or you shouldn't be able to sell them or something. It's just, you know, it doesn't really feel that special to me. You know, I remember when I finished or did my first legendary, it was like I was like ecstatic. Like, I was one of those people who, I didn't actually do it, but I would have been like totally up to make a post on Reddit and be like, look, I just finished my first legendary. But now, I mean, it's like you know, I buy some materials and forge one in like a day or whatever, and I'm like, okay, I got a legendary. Like, it's a cool skin. I don't know. It just doesn't feel as special anymore.
They're really legendaries have become just like an economic tool for ArenaNet to suck gold out of and materials out of the economy. Like, they want to keep the price of T5 wood and mithril from totally crashing to zero, so they give you the biggest sink of all time for those materials, and now they're worth something. Like, it's crazy. The best farm in the game, like, is to multi-map the Malcor's wood farm pile. Like, if you can multi-map that on like 10 characters, you can just constantly be farming wood like 24/7, and you will make an insane amount of gold. It's great and mind-numbing.
Yeah,
you like farming wood, Nike?
I do.
Yeah. That hard wood, that
biggest
elder
pile
wood
you ever saw.
Yeah. Well, I mean, there you go. I mean, legendaries. I'm really in two minds about this. Like, in a way, it's really convenient that you can just skin it over. You can have your legendary and all your characters, right? All your characters can have legendaries thanks to the wardrobe. And of course, you can just buy them out with gold. But again, it devalues them, right? It does devalue them. The fact that there's I mean, my epic story for crafting the Snake Scepter, guys, was me like AFK in Lion's Arch, like alt-tabbing, looking up what I need to craft next to actually finish this stupid thing, right? Okay, and I was in the city the entire time, just standing at the trading post, buying wood and mithril off the trading post, right? I don't know. I mean, wow, that sure is legendary, huh? I don't know. Like, we got a little bit sidetracked here, especially talking about some like world versus world and balance stuff. But yeah,
who cares about world versus world, man?
It's an important part of it, because like one of the main issues is world versus world, and I think a lot of players have said that, oh wow, you know, there's so much downtime, that's why I don't like world versus world. And I think, well, the mount will do something about that. I mean, bear in mind, it doesn't actually go that much faster, by the way. You know what, I love the placebo effect, guys. Okay, it turns out that the mount is not actually that much faster than just running. But people go, wow, I'm so much faster. The downtime is gone. Oh yeah. I mean, well, not really.
Apparently, some people thought I was serious when I said, "Who cares about?" I care about world versus world. Don't worry, guys.
Yeah.
If you don't like it and you don't want to talk about it, why are you? Oh boy, I hope that's a joke.
But anyway, right? Like the downtime is certainly down a little bit in world versus world. Like, you can get in there, get back to world versus world ASAP.
What downtime is there? I don't.
What?
I mean, unless you're following a commander that wants to like try to like siege tier 3 keeps. Well, I guess there's a little bit running back to tag, but I don't know. I just don't really see there being that much downtime. I mean, if you're getting fights, there's fights. I mean, it doesn't take that long in between fights usually. And if you're sieging stuff, well, that's, I mean, obviously, like, of course that's going to take a while. That's the whole point of it. But, you know, just don't do that.
Yeah.
If you don't want to. I don't know. I never really felt like there was that much downtime in World vs. World unless you were playing during like a dead time zone. You know what I mean? So like a lot of times, you know, late night on EU servers, there isn't going to be anything going on because no one's playing then because everyone's sleeping.
Yeah.
And so, you know, of course there's going to be downtime then. There won't be anything going on except for Karma training.
Yeah, but I have the same experience. Like, I've never really got this complaint about the downtime exactly. But, you know, hey, if people say that is the case, I believe them. But still, I kind of think another big problem with World vs. World is it's so meaningless, right? It's like completely pointless. And I think that is something that people need, right? I think a lot of people, you know, I think it's something that's really, really important. when it comes to any game mode, right, is some kind of meaning, like some kind of goal, right? And that's why I think that's why fundamentally most of the people who play this game are effectively very, very casual PvE players, right? Because there's very clear goals when it comes to PvE. Like, you get your legendaries, you get your ascended gear, right? Stuff like that, the farms are very obvious, right? You just like run around in circles and kill stuff, right? It's very, very obvious what you're supposed to be doing there, right? But with World versus World, it's like, why are we doing this again? Like, why are we fighting? Like, why are we attacking this keep?
Because it's fun.
Well, exactly. But the thing is, like, that is actually not good enough. I'm sorry, Roy. Like, we're too old. Okay, like fun, dude.
What?
That's not allowed,
What?
dude. There's got to be.
What?
There's got to be. There's got to be some
Need
kind
a deeper meaning, an existential
exactly,
crisis.
Dude. Yeah. The chat is saying that Guild Wars 2 is meaningless, and that is
Life is meaningless.
actually, oh my, well, guys, come on, let's not have we need to not have a massive crisis here, okay? But it is certainly true. I think Guild Wars 2 definitely suffers from
Life is meaningless.
Yeah. Whoa. Oh, guys, come on, we gotta.
Boys.
Yeah.
Well,
I got my black scarf on, dude.
Oh my
I'm
god.
gonna go get some Starbucks coffee. Like,
the nihilism is kicking in, boys. Oh my
Yes.
goodness. I was enjoying the
I don't
stream.
know, like,
Did you see?
I said.
I was gonna say, did you see this this comment, Roy?
Yeah, I
on the last
responded to
tea time. No, it was on
I
on the last tea time you were on, Roy. Like,
Yeah,
that's
yeah.
Like, oh yeah, you
What comment?
oh,
you asked
shit.
me on stream, and
Yeah.
I responded to it.
Oh, that was good. Yeah,
I thought it was hilarious. It
Yeah.
was the funniest
Hey,
thing. I
that's-
mean, I guess
yeah.
if my voice is really that high pitched, well, I guess wow, I've been living in denial my whole life. But I mean, fair enough. But yeah, no, I like legitimately. The only reason that I would still play World vs. World is because it's fun. I mean, it was never about rewards for for most people, And I mean, we've said this so many times, but yeah, I think World vs. World is fun. Well, fighting is fun anyways. And I mean, I care more about GVG at the moment than World vs. World, but that's sort of a subsection of World vs. World, I guess.
Yeah.
And the last couple of times I've gone into World vs. World, I legitimately have had a good time, just like leading blobs or following a commander. And, I don't do it very much anymore, but I have had a good time. There's still groups that are playing that are just doing it because they have fun, not because there's any specific reward. And I guess also because people are kind of clinging on to the hope that one day there'll be salvation and we'll have
there'll be some salvation.
there'll
Yeah,
be
a light at the end of the tunnel. Yeah, it's definitely true. But oh fuck, what was I going to say? Now I think on the other thing, I don't know. Have you experienced any effects of the balance patch, Roy, in World vs. World in particular?
Well, funny story. I don't know if you're aware of this, but there's this skill called Winds of Disenchantment that was very, very broken for a long time and then got nerfed into the ground. And was still a pretty good skill, but not nearly as broken as it used to be. And it just got changed with this recent patch. And lovely, lovely thing, if you are stealthed, so is your Winds. And your Winds doesn't do damage, so you could be sitting on top of an enemy group with a Winds while stealth.
I have seen I've seen a very good clip of this in a GVG context, I believe, actually, and it's absolutely disgusting.
It's very dumb,
yeah.
And that's not even the stupidest thing that happened with this patch. Scrapper is so dumb.
Yeah,
it is. Scrapper was one of, in my opinion, the strongest support specs you could bring. You know what? You wouldn't really bring more than one, maybe two, but now, if you're not running 3 in your comp, you're gonna lose because all you just press your like it's so brain dead to play Scrapper, man. I played Scrapper for the first time on Thursday, and by the way, I'm horrible at it. Like I had no idea what I was doing, and I still probably was more effective than most people on the enemy team because you just press your gyro and you stand on top of your allies. That's it, and then you grant super speed, and you literally press all your medkit skills. Like I don't know, it just seems, and like the Tempest changes too, like it just made it affect more people. Like I don't know, it's not changes that I want to see. Like it's not making you play smarter.
Are you saying that there's a medium armor class that you can actually use in World v World without getting yelled at now?
Well, but Scrapper already was good though. That's the thing. This is why these changes are so perplexing. To Tempest and World vs. World and Scrapper is that these two were already really good, right? They were already really, really strong, and they just buffed them even harder. Now, I honestly think that the only reason this happens is because of the way ArenaNet changes the balance. I'm pretty sure they just look at stats, right? And they say, "Oh, people are not." I don't know. Please tell me they don't read the feedback, right, on the forums and stuff, because it's so much pain.
The official forums, no one reads that.
I really hope they didn't read the feedback, because the thing is, I always see I always see posts on Reddit and in game that oh yeah guys, Tempest in PvE is trash, right? Like oh my goodness, like yeah, in like Scrapper is just a horrible spec in general, right? Like, oh my god, terrible, so bad, right? So bad in all game modes.
The Scrapper spec Reddit thread from earlier in the week where it was like, why is Scrapper so bad in PvE?
Yeah. But,
and like I got downvoted to oblivion, of course.
Oh, I
like,
see. Yeah,
I
reviewed your comment on stream.
Like,
actually,
so why does it got to be good? Like, why should Scrapper be good in PvE? Like, why should it?
It's not
like
even.
I'm not saying it has to be bad either, but I just don't understand why everything has to be a meta raid build. I mean, like, why does it have to be? Why can't it have? It's designed to be like a bruiser support thing. Like, well, if bruiser support things aren't good in raids, well, then guess what? It's not going to be a meta raid build, so why complain about it? Like,
it's not even that though. Like, almost always, they're also wrong when they say this, right? For example, Scrapper isn't bad. Like, Scrapper is actually pretty good in raids, and it's pretty good in World. It's really good in World vs. World. Now it's fucking crazy in World vs. World.
I saw Angels playing it in PvP, so it's like you can play it everywhere, it seems. And guess what? Scrapper is awesome in open world roaming. For all the people that are like, oh, I can't play it in PvE, just go run around with a hammer on Scrapper in Berserker gear in PvE. You can just face roll everything. It's super stupid. Like, it's great for those type of players. Like, the only place you can't play it is like fractals, maybe. Like, and high level fractal groups probably don't want you. But like everywhere else, everywhere else,
you use it as stealth for supporter. Sweet rate, obviously.
Yeah. It'll make that. It'll make underground facility easy peasy, right? There you go.
Something else.
Yeah, it's like they want Scrapper to be Hollowsmith.
Oh,
and like that's what they want. They won't rest until it is. But guess what? Like, Hollowsmith was designed to be a DPS spec, so guess what? It's going to be better at DPS always.
The untargetable stealth stuff is crazy, right? Like that 15 seconds of with a smoke field is absolutely fantastic, right?
Well, and also you can't see the sneak gyro as an enemy. So if I use the sneak gyro and stealth my team, the enemy has no idea I'm doing it. Like that's because like at least when you re-stealth with black powder, you can actually see it. Like you can see the powder going down, you can see the blast finishers. But with a sneak gyro, you just drop 3 on top of your 15 group, and they literally cannot see you.
And you can't, and they can't see the smoke field. You can't see the smoke field because it's attached to the character, right? So it gets de-rendered. Yeah,
I mean it's insane.
It's pretty bogus, to be honest with you.
There's no counterplay.
And you know what the sad thing is? I think it's very unlikely that will get changed as well because they changed the mechanics of the Scrapper, so that's probably going to stay around. But this is what I mean. Okay, this is something that is frustrating about ArenaNet's balancing. Sometimes is that they will change something that's unnecessary. For example, Heal Ellie, right, was already really good. Right, it was already really good in raids, okay, and really good in World vs. World, and they just like hard buffed it just for no reason, okay.
Well, you know what's funny?
Well, it is a separate build. Like the Warhorn Tempest thing is like definitely like healer thing is like definitely different than the staff camping.
Yeah,
like water.
You're talking about World versus PvE.
PvE.
Yeah, and I do like that they specifically targeted that like the Might God build, right? Okay, like the Might God build, but that is certainly something that needed a buff, right? Because it was kind of like, you could run this, but it's it's not really that. It's okay, right? Like you could stack 25 Might and Fury, it's pretty good. And now it's like really competitive. Like that's actually a really good build. It even
gets be really good when Druid gets nerfed next patch. Yeah. Spoiler alert! It's gonna be real good.
You know what's most interesting to me about the changes is that Tempest got buffed, but I think that Tempest is actually no longer going to really be used very much in World vs. World because of how strong Scrapper is. Like, I actually don't think... Like, we aren't running Tempest anymore. And we maybe will run one, but we were only running one before, so it doesn't actually help Tempest at all. In fact, it may have pushed it out, even though it got buffed, which is just so funny.
Because in general, like, the power creep when it comes to how hard like Scrapper got buffed, right, as a result of these changes, right? And that's
look at this. Tempest is so good. Why am I getting rerolled? Because you're bad at Tempest. God.
Ooh! Ouch! Ow! Yeah.
It's getting a little hot in here. I'm gonna take my scarf off.
And again, like the places where it got buffed, right? They buffed its effects in like large scale stuff, like 10 man, right? But Here's the thing, like the place where Tempest really struggles and is not really that competitive is PvP, right? And this didn't change anything in PvP. It still goes.
Valen was playing it today.
Valen actually gets some pretty dank memes like on Tempest. Actually, I've been seeing him play Tempest. It's actually like pretty. I mean, it's good at.
What's the point?
I mean, it can res people, right? It reses people and it heals, man.
And Firebrand can't res people.
Well, I mean. It's like, imagine if Firebrand was really bad, right? Like, then that's what Tempest would be in PvP, right? That's kind of what it is.
I don't know. I would love to see Tempest come back to the meta, but it's just not good enough. It's not going to come back.
Yeah.
It just doesn't. It does not heal like Firebrand does. It does not cleanse like Firebrand does. It doesn't provide boons like Firebrand does. It doesn't CC even. I mean, it has pretty good CC, but not. It's just. It's not as good as Firebrand. You're not going to see support Tempest replacing Firebrand, especially not with 10-man instead of 5-man shouts. Like, that makes literally no difference to PvP.
Yeah, it really sucks. It really sucks actually the way this stuff kind of pans out, right? And they kind of power crapped it in the wrong place, man. You know, it's just not. It's not good. I legitimately think they just said, okay, not enough people are playing Tempest, okay, in PvE and World versus World. Let's crank that bitch up, okay? And the same with...
Make it hit 10 people instead of 5. That'll solve all the problems.
I don't think it was the same with Scrapper. They were like, you know what, guys? You know what's not very good right now? Like, I don't think enough people are playing Scrapper. Let's make more people play Scrapper by just like buffing the hell out of it. Like, oh wow, there you go, job done. But I think that you get a lot of false negatives, right? Or like false positives rather. Actually, when this approach to balancing, it just seems that you end up buffing things that really don't need buffing. I just like really OP. You know, it's.
I don't even mind the buffs. What my issue is how they changed it. Like, gyros were not very good before, like, in my opinion. Although, they were definitely better when you could get super speed off of them. But what they just changed it into a well that follows you around. There's literally no way to be bad. Like, you just press the gyro and it's on you, cleansing conditions, and then grant super speed at the end, and it follows you. Like, you don't have to stay in the area. You don't have to aim it at anything. You just press it. It doesn't take a lot of skill to play. And that's my issue with it. It's not that it's necessarily buffed so that it's broken, because there's always been broken shit. It's just that it's, even Revenant hammer, like, you actually have to be facing the enemy when you press hammer too, I mean, at least you have to do that, right? That's better than something. But like with Scrapper, you just press a button and you instantly are supporting your allies better than like almost anything else. And I mean, maybe it's kind of like, well, I mean, everything just presses buttons forehead, but I don't know. Just go play Scrapper. It's the most brain dead thing I've ever done in my life. I've been playing support Firebrand since POF came out, and I wanted nothing but to swap off of it. This first time I played Scrapper, I was like, this is the most boring shit I've ever played in my life. It's
Well, yeah. And
there's my rant over.
Again, this is across all game modes, in my opinion. Man, actually, I say that, but they've tried to address this a little bit in PvE. In my opinion, they've tried to just reduce the overall power level of all the classes, right? Like by nerfing banners and just nerfing kind of a lot of stuff across the board to reduce the damage output of everyone, and the boon output of the Chrono and stuff like that didn't really work. But that's for we'll talk about that later. Okay. It really bothers me that they're intent on buffing classes instead of nerfing everything, right? It's such a bad way to go about it. Like, in my opinion, I'm just going to openly say this, guys. I actually think that the World versus World meta is like pure dog shit. Okay, absolutely horrible.
I don't think anyone disagrees with that.
Yeah.
And what changed after the patch? You added
nothing.
That's it. Rev is still busted.
Scourge is the problem in World
Scourge is still busted. Like, Firebrand is still busted. You cannot play without Firebrand. You cannot play without Scourge. You cannot play without Revenant. It didn't really change anything, except it made it more brain dead because you have more Scrappers now. It's like, I don't know, man. It's just, the balance patch. I wasn't really excited before the balance patch because, they released the notes. I was like, okay, this doesn't really seem that much, and Wins is now dumb again. Like, I don't know, man. I think it's really unfortunate.
Yeah, but I mean, it's the entire game is affected in this way, right? Like, time and time again, we don't see any real significant change where it counts, right? As I understand it, like, the exact same comps are going to get played in PvP, for example, right? Like, even after a full balance patch, makes it with a lot of text, right? There's a lot of changes that actually happened in PvP, but nothing will actually end up end up actually changing, right? And that is like, oh man, like I mean, what are we gonna do with this, dude? Like we're fucked. And World vs. World has had it even worse than PvP. Like at least PvP has seen some change since the start of POF. Like World vs. World has just been stuck with the same bullshit, like the same Firebrand Scourge AIDS. And this stems from the fact that ArenaNet just outright refuse to nerf these specs down to where they belong, right? Or change the design on them in any way.
Well, hold on. They changed Harbinger Shroud.
Yeah.
They added Harbinger Shroud. It's different now. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, and honestly, I think stuff like that is a good way of. It's a good start,
it's
right?
So bad.
Okay, it's a good start, but I mean, think about it, right? That's a really weird one to change, right? So you play Big Shade in World versus World, right? Right? So you play the Big Shade, but wait a minute, okay? So the trait they targeted for a nerf, you know what the trait that was fucked up, Roy? Okay, that one boon corrupt every 30 seconds on that shade, you know, holy shit, like, no, dude, fuck Scepter 3, like, Lingering Curse, now that's fine, okay? But you know what, that one boon corrupt whenever you summon a shade, oh man, like, that is, like, ooh, yeah, that is too far.
It was a very strong trait, but yeah, I mean, that wasn't really the main issue with Scourge. The main issue with Scourge was the damage that Desert Shroud does, even though it, you know, like, it should be scaled back, and then obviously as well the amount of boon corrupt it puts out, but that's mostly from Scepter 3 anyways. So yeah, it's not really addressing the main issues that Scourge has, and the fact that it can affect 10 players means that melee pushes are a lot more difficult and a lot more, you know, they're not enjoyable. So yeah, it's just, but I mean, look, the Harbinger Shroud was a cool idea, but the design is horrible. You can't use it until you place your F1, and then you can't move the F1. It'll just stay where you put. I mean, that doesn't make any sense because it's a 3-second cast. Who is going to get hit by that? The only person who's going to get hit by that is someone who doesn't have a monitor on. Like, yeah. Come on. I mean, that's
who needs to get hit by it. They got to get in the squads out.
I'm not actually sure where it was supposed to be used, right? You know what I mean? I'm not sure what I don't think this was intentional, but it is a buff to heal Necro in raids. It is a buff to that, quite a significant buff to that. Yeah, it is, yeah. Because cool. The AoE barrier on it is really good, and you can also use a different trait in Blood Magic as well. You can make good use out of Life from Death as well, which is like a trait that never sees play. But yeah, that's, you know, so that's something, I guess. Like it does, I think it's good there. It's one hit, so it can get blocked by Aegis as well. Feels fucking bad, man.
I hate to break it to you, but I don't think they're balancing around heal Scourge and raids. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, this is one of the...
I've removed it already.
This is one of my favorite things, okay? I actually think that heal Scourge will probably never get nerfed because it doesn't really do a lot of damage. Like, if anything, they'll probably buff it. They're going to buff it to, like, extend boons. They're going to make... There's a trait that extends out boons, right? Whenever you apply barrier or some bullshit.
Please, no.
Yeah. That'll be great. It'll be amazing. And this is a problem that's just huge, though, in my opinion. Like it's
all the heal specs in raids are busted. They're all really good, but you don't even get a chance to know that because none of the content is hard enough to require them. Like if we actually got hard content where people are like, "Holy shit, this is hard. We need to bring in a heavy hitter healer here." And then we brought it in, it would be easy because they're so good at healing. Like if you ever needed a water Ellie, like staff Ellie, like to do content, the second you added it, you'd be like, holy shit, this build is insane. Like, what are we doing? And it would be instantly trivialized. Like they would have to like come out with content that was so next level that they anticipated players adding those type of healers and then made it hard on top of that, which would be like, which would mean like the current one druid meta would just get like wrecked instantly. So yeah, like the specs are just broken. There's just no place for them to shine, I guess.
I think for PvE though, that's surely, I don't know. That's the obvious. Isn't that the obvious way to balance the game through the content itself? Though yeah. I don't know. This is so it boggles. It actually makes my mind fold in on itself that ArenaNet doesn't do this sort of thing, right? Isn't it really obvious that you just make? If you want to make something, if you want to balance the game, just like design a fight that requires something specific, right? There's nothing wrong with doing something like that. Dude, they put fucking hand cutting in the game. They don't mind having something specific for a fight. Just make an entire raid wing that has like a really high healing requirement or something like that. Or make it so you have to heal a boss to kill it.
Hand kite, huh?
Yeah, it's true. It's not intended, but they don't mind it, do they? Right? They don't mind it.
No.
So I don't know. And you can heal. Make a boss that you need to heal instead of damaging it or something like that. Would be kind of fun. I don't know. It's really it bamboozles me. But again, I really think that when it comes to the balance, I think I have come to the conclusion. I was thinking about this like over the past week, and I actually think we're all fucked. Okay, I'm just gonna say it, guys. Right, listen up, chat.
What?
Hey, abandon all hope. Abandon all hope, guys. Okay. Honestly, a lot of the problems that you face are never gonna go away. Okay, because they're not gonna nerf like everything down to a power level that makes sense, right?
I don't like that attitude, Teapot. I'm not a fan. I think you should go and make a forum post and detail what you think is wrong, and then there'll be some changes.
Can it get deleted on the forum?
Yeah. Then every other word will be replaced with kitten. Okay, on the forums, dude. Okay.
Just give it some more time.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. We'll have another balance patch soon.
Yeah.
Well,
sometime this year. And
you can be a little positive. I think PvE balance is in a great spot as far as power level goes.
That's
like
true.
there aren't like crazy outliers anymore, like DPS wise. Like everything is kind of like the numbers are kind of where they need to be. So now ArenaNet can like balance based on fun gameplay. Like they can go, okay, this is the right power level, but is it fun? No. Okay, what can we do to make it fun? And like revamp the classes that way.
Yeah. And I do tend to agree with that. I really do like the changes to PvE. But again, this is where it's like a bit of a headache though. Like in my opinion, like before the patch, PvE was like okay, pretty happy, right? It was in a pretty good spot already, right? And now it's in an even better spot. But the other game modes that are kind of flailing around wildly, which is PvP and World vs. World, like really struggling to not to not be mega AIDS. It's I don't know. They don't get sufficient changes. We're not seeing sufficient changes to those game modes, in my opinion. Like, and in my opinion, the way the game is balanced and changed, it almost implies to me that ArenaNet kind of like the game the way it is, right? Like as we see, right? They're not nerfing the really strong stuff. They're just bringing everything up to the same power level. I don't think that's the right approach. Because I think it's fundamentally like stuff is just too strong, and it makes it unfun to play against, right? And honestly, unfun to play as well. Like if everyone is OP, is going crazy, like it creates these ridiculous power spikes and like ultra fast gameplay, right? I just don't know.
Are you saying you don't enjoy being one shot on the tankiest build imaginable?
You know what?
With no chance to not die.
When I'm on my Minstrel Firebrand and I get like 15k crit by a Rev Coalescence, like
dude,
that, yeah.
You like that, though?
I got hit by like a 12k vault on a full Minstrel Firebrand. Like, why? What?
Oh, dude, no, let's not even talk about Daredevil in GVG, man. I saw Barak's montage of the goddamn like some GVGs just the other day. He was getting like 18k vaults, dude.
Dude, it's so broken. It's so broken.
What is this? I don't even know what to say, dude. That's ridiculous.
The sad part? The sad part is, if you nerf that, literally, Thief's gone. Thief is dead. You will never have Thief in GVGs if you nerf how much damage they do, because now you don't even need them to stealth. You just have 3 scrappers. Like, you don't need Thieves to stealth anymore. What do you need Thief for if they don't do damage?
Man.
Oh,
like. Bye. No more Barrack Lays,
Yeah. No.
And speaking of saying goodbye, I unfortunately have
Yes.
to.
Yeah. Wait, I understand that. So
Yes.
Thanks for coming on, Ryan.
Apologize for being here for such a short time.
That's
Coupled
all
with last week's, interrupting your tea time, and now this one
Oh,
leaving early. I actually made a whole tea time.
Yeah,
I
so
made a whole tea
it's
time.
combined. You can mush it. I'll edit them up, right, and then we'll stick them together, right, and then we can kind of get
Helium
that going.
Boy to departing early boy, I guess is.
Yeah.
Helium Boy's leaving. Yes, now everyone can unmute the VOD. YouTube watchers, this is where you can start. Put a little timestamp. Helium Boy leaves.
I'm gonna get that. Yeah, I'm gonna put a little time. Yeah, I'm gonna get that timestamp set up. Like, guys. Like, so Roy tea time is up until a 55-minute mark. Like after that, then you can
It's good
start
tea
watching.
time then.
Yeah.
I'm gonna start watching it when I leave.
Yeah. Well, I mean, yeah, you would have witnessed it.
Yes, but anyways, I do need to leave. Thank you, Teapot, and of course, Nike and Nico. You gorgeous bastards. I just have one thing to say, and that's sub for free with Twitch Prime. to Nike
Very
and
nice.
Teapot. And I don't think Nico streams, but if he did, you should sub to him. In fact, I think you might be able to sub to him, even though
On
he's streaming.
YouTube, you can.
Yeah.
On YouTube,
Yeah.
please follow on
See what
Twitch
those-
and don't ever stream.
Dank Mesmer DPS rotations, dude. Okay.
Oh, no,
Mm.
it's so sad. I hate
Yeah.
Oh, and look, there's Easy Rocka. Here, I got his name right this time. Sub to him too with Twitch Prime. Very nice.
Oh,
Maybe
he's
you'll
too
get some
toxic.
cosplay. Yeah. All right. Anyways, have a good day.
See
Take
you
care.
later.
I'm gonna mess up your overlay now.
Yeah.
Good
Okay.
luck. Bye-bye.
God fucking damn it, Roy. Yeah. Oh. Well, I mean, yeah.
Complete garbage.
Yeah. Oh, it's ruined.
Oh,
My
what is
goodness.
this?
Oh no.
Where's
But
my
anyway,
room? Oh, there.
to keep everything going, like we've just got a shot of the top of Nike's head there. Okay.
Nike.
About the stuff in PvE there, like I would say that if anything, the damage is still way too high in PvE, right? I think a lot of stuff just does way too much DPS. Like, as in everything does too much DPS. Not necessarily just that even the DPS classes, but literally everything.
But I mean, the top DPS class right now does like what, 34k?
No, no, it's more. It's like 37, I think.
Yeah, but that's like
Let me open the Discord. So
Is that Power Chrono? Like that's
Power Chrono is 36.7, but it's like over after one rotation because there is no rotation to it. It's just like a straight line of rotation.
You poop out your skills and that's it. Yeah,
Yeah, it's good.
that's good.
Mm.
I'm glad they
And as soon
nerfed
as
that.
Daredevil has a bomb.
I'm
Okay.
glad they changed the heal interaction on Power Chrono
Yeah.
because it made one of the most tear-filled, salty Reddit posts of all time. And I
That's
like
true
the
as
guy
well, yeah.
Strider. Strider's a nice guy. He's smart. He contributes good ideas. But that was a very butthurt Reddit thread. If I have to identify one.
Rifle Deadeye is 38.1.
No. As I understand it, like the
Well,
Power
that's
Chrono
definitely
survived
a
just
meta
fine,
build.
right? Like Power Chrono survived just fine as well. So it's not.
Yeah, but it's not fun. You don't get it, Teapot. It's not
It is
fun.
not fun.
That's like, but that's like the age-old thing. Whenever anything gets nerfed, and then we're like, yeah, but really it's the same as it was before. You just got to do this differently. Well, that's not fun. And then like 6 months later, people have gotten used to it, and it's just as fun as it ever was. Like I'm so over the "it's not fun"
The
comment.
Flower Font
Or
nerf.
it's clunky. Guess what? You'll get used to it, and it won't be clunky. Like that's just how things work. Like if you haven't noticed that pattern over the last 6 years, you're not paying much attention.
Yeah, no, there's always going to be community outcry, and well, Mice Crispy nails it here really, and this is something that I always say. I always kind of taunt people who complain about nerfs, right? It's just like, nah, you didn't really like the class, you just like being overpowered, right? You like feeling OP.
It's
And
true with Power Chrono.
and it is true, right? And honestly, I actually understand that, right? You know, I get it, right? Like feeling like crazy OP, that is a bit fun, right? Come on, you know, that's a little bit of fun. That is a little bit of fun, guys. You know what I'm saying? Okay. But I don't know. I do feel that I don't know. I suppose I'm a bit disconnected here. If you take it down a notch and you actually join like raid pugs, like 50 LI pugs, like 100 LI pugs, okay? Like raids at that point are actually pretty difficult, you know what I mean? Like that you know, that's a little bit challenging, okay? Like the boss doesn't die that fast. But if you have players who are actually good at doing DPS, like everything just gets absolutely destroyed, right? Absolutely gets annihilated, okay, by all the DPS stuff. And in terms of like the actual power level, I mean, is it really right that you can have like every boon in the game completely permanently? I mean, I don't know, dude. Like I after the patch, I was like, dude, you might not be able to get vigor so easy anymore. That's fucked up. But actually, you still can. But should you really be allowed to have like perma vigor, perma protection, like perma everything? Like, should you be allowed to get that? I don't know. Like, some of this stuff is really, really powerful. Like, shouldn't you have to think a little bit more about actually using it? I don't know. It's an interesting question to ask. Like, in PvE, in terms of raids, like if everything is doing like 100k DPS, it's not really a big problem as long as everything does that. So it's a very different way to talk about balance than if you're talking about world versus world or world versus world or PvP, obviously. But I don't know. I feel that if you run a regular comp and just like face all the raids, I think it's so easy just to completely disengage with the fight. I think the so much of the raids goes completely unappreciated and becomes like a really boring soup, okay, because of how trivial everything becomes when you're actually like half decent at the game and you have the right classes. I don't know. It's
Honestly, that's probably more a symptom of them refusing to go back and like tweaking the numbers on old content than like, because like power creep's inevitable to an extent, but it wouldn't be hard to counter it by increasing Gorseval's HP by like 75%. Like that would be a much more interesting fight all of a sudden. Or like increase the damage the platform takes at Sabbatha by 50% from everything. Like there's definitely ways to make the fights, to rebalance them to make them interesting. But I don't know. They obviously have zero interest in doing anything like that because it hasn't ever happened. They've never gone back to Wing 1 and said, okay, let's make it harder.
Yeah. I think it will be really great to go back and add a CM, right? Add challenge modes to the old fights. I think that could really... really kick in some extra replayability and engagement, right? Like, I don't know. For example, I hate doing normal mode Wing 4 now because I genuinely enjoy the challenge modes a lot more. I really don't like regular... Normal mode Wing 4 is just the most boring shit ever, right? Because I've done the challenge modes enough that it's really dull. Like, whenever I do Doom, okay, normal mode, it like freaks me out because like, where is he? Where is he? Where is he? I don't see him. Like, what the hell? Where is he, guys? Okay, I'm talking about the Ender's Echo, obviously, right, guys? It's just... I don't know. And on Kadim, I'm just expecting, where's the orb? Where's the orb, right? I don't know. I think this is a sentiment that's not actually held by too many players, I think, because I had like a really weird debate with Rocker on a previous TeaTime actually about this. It's just, I like playing fights that are engaging mechanically, right? And a lot of players, I think, just like really nailing a rotation, like just doing a lot of DPS, right? Like for me, the fun in the game is doing the mechanics and actually engaging with the encounter. But for a lot of players, it's just like getting those big numbers. You know what I'm saying? Like big fucking numbers. And I think that's I don't know.
That's definitely real.
It's valid. It's valid, by the way. It's 100% valid. I think going for big DPS is good, but I don't know. I think it's. If you just care about big DPS, I think the game becomes incredibly boring incredibly quickly unless you're actually pushing for speedruns, right? And I think too many players really go for the Omega. They go for the Omega DPS, right? And that actually kind of kills their enjoyment of the game, if anything, actually. I think it makes raids look more boring than they appear. And it also forces people into playing... It forces people into playing classes that they think are the best. Like the community in Guild Wars 2 with regards to like meta classes and meta builds, in my opinion, is fucking horrible. Okay, it is.
You mean like guys that are playing Mirage at Largos and getting 4K DPS, and you're like, what buttons are they even pressing?
Well, it's that, right? But I think it also contributes to the sentiment. It contributes to the sentiment of like, if you don't play exactly this, like it's terrible, right? I see people saying that Heal Ellie is trash, right? Like Heal Necro is trash, or like, oh dude, like Hollowsmith does such low DPS, like or like Necro does such bad DPS. You're like, why would you ever play this, right? It's just, guys, it's like oh yeah, Necro is just horrible in raids, man. It's like, oh man, it's so retarded, right? Like when people just look at the base number, like that number, and they chase after like the top DPS figures, it's just like, oh my goodness, like this is just, it's terrible. It absolutely ruins the fucking the game, in my opinion. Like for everyone, because you have people who think that their class is bad, but it actually isn't. Okay, or they want to play X build and they actually think it's terrible, but it really isn't. Like, I don't know, dude. It's a clown fiesta, right? It's a mega clown fiesta, in my opinion. Like the way the community actually understands the balance of the game. And what terrifies me is that I think that ArenaNet is influenced by it in some ways. Although I'm glad they haven't buffed Necro, actually. Like with all the complaining towards Necro, I'm amazed they haven't buffed it, right? I'm waiting for those Scourge buffs, man. Next patch is gonna be
I don't
great.
think so. Like I heard something a while ago that like, so in their internal statistics, they can tell like what comps or what professions are most correlated with successful kills. And even back when like no one was playing Scourge or Firebrand, when those were brand new, or not brand new, but like when they got original. So they came out and they were super overpowered. Then they got nerfed back down to like normal. and no one was playing them, they had such good support built in that they carried groups like to a great success, like groups that would otherwise not kill the boss. So like they have these statistics that say groups that take a scourge are twice as likely to kill a boss than groups that don't take a scourge, whatever their actual number is. So then they can go, we don't need to buff that because it's doing a good job. It's just maybe the players don't see it because it's not at the top end. It's not like apparent at the top end from like speed clear guilds.
Yeah, that is where it can be a bit worrying, right? I don't know. I feel that at the end of the day, people start at trying to emulate the top end players, right? I don't know, dude.
I better don't do that.
Yeah, it's
gonna be horrible for you guys soon.
I want to suggest to all pugs to bring a healer to Matthias. That's probably a very good idea.
We played
you're a pug.
And yesterday we found a druid. We didn't realize our might was like average 8 or something until we killed it once. And this is going to be meta soon, like the comp itself, not the might uptime. So,
oh dear! Oh no!
We like it.
No
druid.
Yeah, so I don't
Ring
think
2 druid optional.
Yes.
With any luck, that it will, that will hopefully not catch on.
Exactly what Rock writes.
Yeah, if you run it,
it's a learn to play issue.
Yeah,
if you
learn
run
to play
it,
issue.
you are completely trash. I mean, in theory, it is though, right? It is in theory. It is in theory, right? I don't know. You're right. So pretty you might be right, but comparing Reaper versus Downtime, where was he at? Reaper is bad. In the end, it's about the player. Reaper has a good player doing more than Downtime. Yeah, that's great. Oh yeah, this is true. This is actually my exact point actually. Like for raids, like, the content is nowhere near hard enough, right, in terms of DPS to actually require any level of meta, right? And this is something that always every single balance patch people trigger me. They go like, oh wow. Is there a reason to play this class now? And I always say, like, yeah, you could have played that since it existed in the game, but like, yeah, sure, you can play it now as well. It's just like, oh boy, is Tempest viable now? It's like, I mean, Tempest was like viable since it was launched, but yeah, it's still viable. Yeah, it's absolutely right. It's like, I don't know, like this. It just makes me so sad. Like it genuinely makes me sad that so many players feel that they can't play something. I don't know. They just feel that they can't play that way. Like it's not that hard, guys. Like it's if you want to do Veil Guardian, you have to do like 7k DPS per player or something, guys. Like basically every build does more than 7k DPS, right? I think you'd struggle to find something that low if everyone's doing that amount of DPS. Can I play Guild Wars 2? Yes, you can. That's also viable. Yeah. So on your hand, you're looking for a challenge, but on the other hand, you're looking for people to play more classes that make the fight even easier. The hypocrisy. Well, no, actually, not necessarily.
Not really. They go hand in hand.
No,
like
not necessarily easier. Actually, like you've not really understood what I've said, and actually, you completely missed the point. Actually, but yeesh. No, I'm personally looking for a challenge, but I mean, like a lot of players are really worried about their class not being viable or raids being too hard. For a player who thinks that raids are too hard, then absolutely, then you need to break out the heal necro, dude. Like break out the heal Ellie, the heal necro, you know what I'm saying? Okay. But no, if you want a challenge, then I think they should also add challenge modes, right? And make some encounters harder, right? Because a lot of this stuff is too easy. In my opinion, one of the reasons I stopped raiding on multiple accounts every week is because like every time in Salt, all we would do is we would just play with like heal necro, because honestly I fucking hate play. I'm really in two minds about this actually. The way it goes is I like refuse to play with Salt unless we have a heal necro pretty much, or I'm playing heal necro. But the thing is, like when you have a heal necro, it's so fucking boring, dude. Oh my god, it's so easy right at that point. It's just terrible. Oh my god, it's a nightmare actually. Like it removes all engagement from the fight whatsoever. You're just sitting there like AFK, like doing a DPS rotation. It's mind numbing, dude. It's horrible. And that's why I stopped playing, because I actually think that these builds are so strong now, right? Okay, they are so powerful. Stuff like Heal Ellie and Heal Scourge are so powerful that it's just like it turns raids into a complete snooze fest. I don't know. That's a bit of an aside, though, but no, it's not hypocrisy at all. You just don't understand what I said. What if I do expect everyone's using SC site for latest builds? You can shape the meta by your own, but you keep talking trash into every time. Why you sit down with SC and create some new builds? Because the SC builds are fine. There's nothing wrong with the SC builds. What's wrong with the SC builds?
People also seem to have like this idea that like what SC or QT or what we did before was being proscriptive rather than descriptive. It's not the speed clear guilds going, okay, we designed this build, here it is, enjoy it. This is just the build that the game, everything in the game tells you to run. So that's what you should be running. It's like the difference between prescriptive and descriptive is, do dictionaries tell you what the words mean based on the dictionary's authority or how people use the word? Because sometimes how people use the word is different than what the dictionary says. Long story short, Snowcrows is describing the meta that already exists in the game, not telling people what the meta is and forcing them to use it. Like when they say this is the best DPS build, it's not that they didn't like create that in a lab. Like that, the game came together to make, like the mechanics of the game made the DPS build. They're just describing it for everyone. I just don't understand why people don't get that. Like it's not like they can like take some bad build and say this is the best build in the game and like all of a sudden
they could actually
true.
They could.
They can't change. You can't change. Yeah, but that would be a huge mistake because they would get exposed by people like Fennec who would like make a whole Reddit post about how bad it actually is. Like they can only describe what is. They can't create a fake reality.
Yeah. Well, that is true.
I mean, I guess you could create a fake reality with centaur slaying sigils.
Exactly.
Oh, it would have to be a pretty grand conspiracy to make that work, though, right? You'd have to have everyone's in on it, right? And then everyone kind of pull. You know.
Teapot, would you like to have some gold? I can make it work.
Yeah, let's go. Like we can market it, but let's fucking go, dude. Let's get this going. You know, I like it.
Destroyer slaying works on Destroyer on Kadim.
Yeah. Ooh.
Go buy it.
Get those Destroyer Slayer memes, dude. I mean, I don't know. Like the one thing I would criticize about SC site is like some of the wording with regards to like their viability.
I have to talk to Harry about this.
Oh my god! Like this panel is a bit interesting. Like this has happened like multiple times. Like over the past few weeks, actually. Like, some people come on my chat and say, "Oh no, I've heard that like engineer is ineffective on like almost every boss in the game." Like, oh no, it's like I don't know. Like there's some argument to be made that maybe that's a little bit maybe a little bit too far. But again, like within the context of what SC site is for, it's actually true that to be honest, this is, guys, and I hate to even say this because it feels so bad to say it, but this is like a critical thinking thing, right? You need to look at SC saying like, what are they saying here, right? Okay, what are they actually trying to convey here? And what SC tell you is what is like the best in slot, right? Like the best strategy, okay, for how to do all this stuff, right? But a lot of people read it as like you have to play this or it's absolute trash. Right, and that's not how it works, right? It's not how it works. Everything is shit, not everything is viable. Now, I say that everything is pretty much viable, right? Okay, can we add a counter of how many times SC site is mentioned? 1. Okay, good. But I don't know. It's an interesting one. I don't know why, but I think it is like this in every game. I think a viability is a giant meme everywhere, right? You know what I mean? It's a giant meme. It really confuses people. That word confuses people, okay? The spectrum, garbage, viable, puggable, SC, ERP, optimal. I mean, wait, it's like ERP is above SC somehow? Like, what's going on there, dude? I mean, what is this? I don't know. I if there was one thing I could change about this, about the community is I want people to realize that every class is good, really. Every class is good. I think it's actually hard to make a build that isn't good, in my opinion. In raids, it's actually difficult to make something that won't work.
Scrapper
won't get the job done. It's good though. Yeah, heal scrapper. Yeah, you lose. Get fucking wrecked. Yeah, that's what I thought. Even
No, that's actually nothing.
I think-
Spellbreaker. That's what I said.
I mean, there's some that you could design a build that's just total trash, like
No,
like
a good,
Nomad's Condi Scrapper would be pretty bad. Like
it's a good tank. You can use pistols for condi damage.
yeah,
No.
there you go.
it would
But
not.
if you've got Nomad, you wouldn't have any damage.
Spellbreaker is not good anymore. Nowhere.
Well, I mean, you can play it as a DPS, right? It can take banners. It can
Does
take
like
banners. Good
29k
enough.
DPS probably. Like it's not good.
Yeah, it's some good shit.
Power Reaper is better.
Yeah, Power Reaper. Yeah,
Power
You have
Reaper
something
is
in store for
really
Power Reaper. It's
good.
great.
yeah. Power Reaper is pretty good in pugs, man. It's pretty strong actually. It's finally in a pretty happy spot now. Power Reaper is like over 30k. I think it's like 30.5k or something. I think I've seen as a
Or like one
benchmark.
patch until they nerf
Yeah.
it again.
No, don't do it. Don't do it. And it's really great in post because it can give itself quickness, right? Like you just never assume that you get any quickness. Just give it to yourself, right? You can get 25 might and quickness on your own just by auto attacking in Shroud. Amazing, right? And that's how you've got the really juicy content, dude. That's the good shit, you know.
And it's really good in open world, like ridiculously good because of the same reason. 100% crit chance, 25 might, perma quickness or close to it. It's good stuff.
Yeah. I don't know. I think we find ourselves in a very weird spot in terms of balance. Like what Nike was talking about is absolutely true. Like the actual PvE meta is in an incredibly good spot right now, in my opinion. Like there are so many different options that you could use now. Actually, oh my god, there is so much you could do right now. With all the current specs, you could run, there's so many might. You could run like 2 Seraph Guardians to stack your might and heal. You could run a heal Ellie stacking your might and extending boots. You could have a Druid stacking might. You could have a Herald combined with a Guardian, probably stacking like 25 might as well. There's so much you could do right now. Like almost any combination of like random classes will probably be able to figure something out. Like the only 2 things that are a bit annoying to still come across is quickness and alacrity, right? Like there you're kind of locked into having a chrono or having a firebrand renegade, right? Like that's where things can get a bit difficult. But all the other boons like might, fury, protection, right? Like all this stuff is so easy to get across all the classes now. You can just like mash. You could even have Deadeye might stack as well, right? You could just mash a bunch of classes together. You'll be able to figure something out, right? The only thing where you don't have flexibility at this point, like extreme flexibility, like almost everyone can do it. Is 100 is just quickness and alacrity. That's it, right? That's the only thing that isn't that common, and I think that's going to be really difficult. I don't think you're never going to have a lot of classes that can apply permanent quickness and alacrity, right? Because it's really going to mess you up in the other game modes if every class can apply quickness. Right?
It should be a key boon, not just something you have perma, even though you have it.
Exactly. Well,
thank you.
do not say that shit, Nico. Don't take away perma quickness.
Remove quickness.
No. We need quickness and alacrity permanent. The game is unplayable without perma quickness and alacrity, guys. Like we all know this, right? We all know this 100%, right? It's completely. Quickness was not a mistake. No. Yeah.
But at least we have options. Like you say, there's only 3 classes that we can get these from. That's way better than that's way better than it was like.
Oh yeah. Well, yeah, it was in 1.
Last
Yeah. It was like when only Chrono could apply alacrity. That was a fun
And
one.
Firebrand is probably almost too good right now. Like the DPS for what it can do, like support wise. Like if you're just in a random static group or whatever, like, and you're not like a speed clear guild, and you just have like a static group of friends, you should 100% be running 1 Chrono, 1 Firebrand, 1 Renegade. It is just going to be better for you. It's just so they complement each other so well, and the Renegade covers for the Chrono being like subpar. Like they all just cover for each other in a really, really delightful way. I think.
Yeah. It is nice that you have that triple synergy. It's a really fun comp to play with. Actually, it's a really good one. I don't know. You can even do stuff that really shouldn't work. Like for example, just the other day, we just stacked every lifesteal effect in the game and just like cleared raids with it. Right, that was amazing. Oh man, we had perma lifesteal and constantly. It was incredible. But what? Give heal, scourge, quickness, and alacrity? No, Rocker, please, come on. You can't say something like that.
No, Rocker.
Yeah, actually. So every time you apply barrier, you extend everyone's boons by 1 second. I wonder how good that would be. That would be pretty good, actually.
Half a second should be enough
Yeah,
already.
yeah, 2
Just
seconds.
have Scrapper pulse. Have Scrapper Gyro's pulse quickness.
And alacrity.
There.
And one
That'd be
trick
great.
set.
That'd be great for
And
World v.
super
World.
speed. And super speed as well.
Yeah.
Make it into a boon,
Perma.
please.
There. You know what, though? If they ever give any kind of permanent super speed in raids, you realize that you'll never be able to play without it again. Like, super speed is so
it's so
fast,
good.
actually.
I mean,
Oh,
after
man.
this patch, it was kind of hard for like the first week to get swiftness sometimes. And like you even notice it not having swiftness. You'd be like, oh my god, I'm so slow. I can't deal with this.
Yeah.
I remember being at Doom and I was like, all right, time to go to my green. And I was like, oh my god, I don't have swiftness. I'm not going to make it.
Yeah.
I'd use like every
It's-
skill in the book to like get there in time.
Yeah, it's actually horrible. If you don't have swiftness, you are so slow. And that's some of the weaknesses with like the Firebrand stuff. Sometimes like you just end up with no swiftness, which is horrible. Actually, not having swiftness is not acceptable, my friends. Like, it makes the game completely unplayable. Yeah, you're just too slow, guys. You just can't go anywhere. It's just not a good time. But the balance patch in general was pretty good, right? They did try enough. What do you think about the chrono changes, Nico? Actually, like, what do you think? What do you think they were trying to do exactly by reducing the cooldown and duration of Signet? Right?
They
What were they trying
buffed
to
it
do?
in 5-man. It's now super easy to keep up. The change to Tides of Time into quickness and then alacrity is horrible for raids. Like, irritation is just... Normally you would just Tides of Time, quickness, Signet. Now you have to Tides of Time, something that this Tides of Time comes back to you, and then cast Signet. But until then, you're already out of your F5, so you get a Renegade for that and you're fine.
Yeah. Do you think
It's one of the reasons why I play with Chrono, Firebrand, and Renegade. Right?
Yeah. Do you think that's why they did that to kind of make it the synergy even more obvious?
I don't
to get
think
the
they made it
instant
that for my part. It's a good byproduct.
Yeah. I mean,
For those professions, not for me.
more eventually, right? We're gonna get to the point where we have one of each class, right? Perfect balance. We're
And
moving.
then you'll have like one class that's like DPS.
Yeah.
One
It's
class that's
costing
empty
too.
DPS,
nine supports,
nine hybrids.
Yeah, 9 hybrids, and then one. Yeah, the one monkey gets
That's
to play
your
like
comp,
pure
right?
DPS.
That's like
Yeah.
World. That's like World of Warcraft. Like I know they had metas where it was just like pile everything onto one DPS guy. Like every. That's what we're
That's good.
working towards.
Every buff, dude. Every single buff. I mean, that would certainly be a fun meme. I mean, of course, you know.
Yes. And that's not perfect balance. That's
Well,
It's
it would be the exact opposite, if anything, right? Because you'd be if like the best in slot com was like you had to have one of every single class instead of having
perfect balance.
like,
So you have everything different for every boss.
Yeah, the balance that you desire, right, is to have a lot of things interchangeable, and I think we're actually very close there. There's so many different combinations of making up a comp right now, right? There's obviously like still the playing what everyone knows, which is the Chrono Druid and stuff like that, like the basic stuff. But you can go so much further now, and honestly, guys, I would really encourage everyone. Like if you're here, you know, you're getting into Riz, I'd absolutely encourage you to just kind of experiment and play around, right? Like you'll find that no matter what people have told you, you'll find out that the game is a lot more flexible than perhaps you might expect, especially if you know what you're doing. And that's kind of the upside of having the game be relatively easy, actually, right? You know, with the raids not being too stressful on DPS, you can get away with a lot, right? You can play whatever you want. You know what I mean? Like if you want to play some really weird shit, okay, you can, right? If you want to play like 3 or 4 healers, you can do that, guys. Okay, you can get away with that, and it will work out. I know. I really like the way the PvE meta is right now. It's definitely it's a lot of fun to play, I think. And it's really good. It's really good. It's like we're in a very good spot, in my opinion. But I mean, that cannot be said for PvP and World vs. World, right? Like, so in terms of those changes there, like, you know, Mesmer kind of got the shaft in PvP. Like Mirage got wrecked really hard.
I thought Mirage didn't get hit hard at all, according to certain people. Or like complaining the day of the patch that it didn't get hit hard enough.
Well, it's a yes and a no situation, right, Nike? Because it's true that they nerfed the damage output of it, but the thing is, like, it wasn't annoying because of how much damage it did as such, right? That was an annoying part of it, but the main annoyance came from the fact that it was like perma-evading, going crazy, and was like really hard to actually lock down and just never die, right? Like, and that is still the case, really. Like, you play a different setup, I think, and it certainly is. It's gonna punish bad mirages a lot more than good mirages, right? Like, I talked to Frosty a little bit about this, and he says it's still basically fine. It's just like it's just not as it doesn't just do as much damage, right, as it did before, right? And you can still do like the aids, like the regular annoying stuff, right? So is Trailblazer Elias tank no viable? Absolutely, actually, yeah. You could definitely play some kind of Condi build with like, yeah, you could actually. You even got Obsidian Flesh for an invuln as well. That's
we're talking about PvP right now, right?
Yeah. No, he's talking about raids, right? But no, like, no, you can absolutely do that. That wouldn't even be bad, I don't think. Not that bad, anyway. Mirage should get fucked harder, to be honest. Well, I mean, maybe. But they buffed Chrono as well. They buffed Chrono. It's like, nice. Okay, so now they didn't even know about that. As I understand it, ArenaNet weren't even aware that this Chrono build was going around, which is a bit weird, seeing as it was played in monthly AT. But, I mean, you know, it is what it is, right? It's a bit of an unusual one. But I know like the balance there didn't really get changed. Like, this is what worries me. Like, it's you know, PvE got shaken up a bit, and there's plenty of different new combinations there. But in terms of the other game modes, like, nothing has changed, right? Like, everything is identical. I mean, well, except like the Scrapper stuff, right, in World vs. World, and Scrapper is like the new solo queue hero in PvP as well. Actually, like, this is oh man, like there are so many people complaining about Scrapper right now. So the key changes basically is honestly like to stuff like Bulwark Gyro and Medic Gyro. Actually, like, these two gyros are so disgusting in PvP, as it turns out. They have massive healing, massive condition cleanse because you're on the anti-corrosion plating, I think, and you're just going crazy, like with massive healing, massive barrier, really hard to take down. But I don't know, it's kind of like, I don't know. As I understand it, it's not actually that good in competitive play because it doesn't really win 1v1s very well. But it's really good in solo queue because people get really hard trolled, right? Like, really hard trolled, and just like try and fight it instead of running away from it. So, I mean, I don't know. A lot of this stuff about the balance is not much has really changed in my opinion, which is a real shame. I think I do think that PvP really needed this patch to be big and fat, okay? And I think in a way it has actually been a bit of a letdown in that regard. I think it's not really done enough to PvP, and certainly not to World versus World. But to be honest, at this point, I'm a little bit resigned, in fact, to the way the game is going to go in terms of those two gamers with the balance. Like, I guess I just have to. I have to ultimately accept that it's the way, especially World versus World, is. I just really don't enjoy the way the current meta is right now. It's a bit AIDS, okay, and I don't think it's going to get toned down either.
I just don't feel like World v World can change with Scourge unless Scourge is like deleted, and it won't be deleted. So like, I don't know how you go from like Scourge like defines how fights happen, like. It dictates the style of play. So I don't know. Like, even if you say that Firebrand is more powerful than Scourge, like, but Scourge still defines how engagements happen. So it's like it's the linchpin to the whole thing, and I just don't see Scourge being deleted. So or nerfed to the point where it's completely useless in World v World. Do you know like how bad it would have to be nerfed before it was useless in World v World? Like maybe every shade has that 3-second delay. Like I don't know.
Yeah, that might do it. That might do it. Yeah.
Yeah. Like that's the only thing I can think of. Like it would have to be so bad because like just what it does mechanically is so good in that game mode that even a bad version of it would still be good. So it would have to be like a worse than a bad version.
Oh yeah,
to be bad.
Like, I think you'd really see that in the way you see that in PvP as well. That just the stuff it does is just so strong. Like, even though if you compare Scourge now to how Scourge was at the start of Path of Fire, like, oh my god, like, it was so insane, actually, at the start of this game. Like, your F2 had a 4-second cooldown, corrupted 2 boons instead of 1. Every single pulse of Desert Shroud applied Doomfire, right? It was absolutely ridiculous, dude. Like, it's been nerfed so hard, right? And like Big Shade had a 10-second cooldown, right? Now it has a 30-second cooldown. Like, all of that has been nerfed so hard, and it's still good. It's still insane, right? Oh my god, it's definitely a bit of a clown fiesta. It hits 20 man, dude. That was I think that was only in the beta,
It was a
right?
bug.
I think
That was a bug. Like they said it in the beta, it doesn't work that way. It did in the end.
Yeah, it was good. I remember that 10 target cap. Oh, hitting 20 people with Scourge at the same time was.
So do you think that, and this is from an outsider perspective, do you think PvP needs change for the sake of change? Like, just to like, okay, it's these same 5 classes in every MAT. Should we just shake it up to get 5 different classes in there? Like, just for the sake of having something different? Is that sort of what it needs?
To be honest, probably at this point, like, it's not the really odd thing is it's not exactly like that. To be honest, if there's actually you see a lot of variety in it that actually gets played. But the thing is, like, when those teams collide, like, one of them will just smash the other. For example, there was a really interesting in just a regular AT yesterday. I saw there was the classic comp, right? With it was Cinder and his team playing with the meta comp, right? Okay, so they've got the Firebrand, the Scourge, the Rev, the Thief, the Soul Beast, right? And they were playing against another team. It was actually had Frosty on it, right? And they had some warriors. They had Warrior. They had Scrapper. I don't know what else they had actually. They had I think they had a Thief, right? And he was on Rev and stuff like that. So it was a very different composition. But so you can win, you can do well on this. But when you had the two teams with like relatively a more even skill level, there just came a point where it was obvious that the more mobile team just couldn't do anything, right, against the Firebrand comp and stuff like that. It just completely slowed the game down and completely shut it down, right? So I think people are really fed up of that sort of thing, and they want it gone. Honestly, I think people really want the Firebrand Scourge duo just dead. To be honest, like, or at least Firebrand gone, or and maybe replace it with Tempest or something. I think Scourge is actually not that bad anymore. I think it's more the Firebrand that causes problems because of how well it resurrects people, and can keep the Scourge alive. Tempest is kind of good at that as well. That's the problem. Like, Tempest is pretty good at rezzing as well with its res trait, but yeah, it needs change. Like, both the gamers just honestly need change for the sake of change. To be honest, like, it would be better than nothing. It's just been the same for so long. But a lot of the problem is that just a lot of it isn't that fun. Other classes aren't fun to play against, right? Stuff like Mirage or Soul Beast or Chrono in PvP. It's just annoying to play against, right? Or like when a Rev just leaps on you and just like crits you for all of your health in one go. Like, it's just not fun. It's really obnoxious to play against. Like, I think the game mode would probably be. It would be improved if they just engaged the time machine and went back to HOT at this point, as a lot of people have been alluding to,
or vanilla.
it is a design problem, right? Like, a lot of the elite specs, particularly the Path of Fire ones, just their design is inherently flawed for certain game modes, right?
It seems like they cranked up the support to make them good PvE specs to compete with Chrono in PvE. But that had the side effect of being insanely overpowered in PvP and World, to where they're now just like these crazy support specs that like can slow down the game and bunker and synergize with each other. Because that's what they're built to do in PvE, is synergize with each other and be like these face roll comps that do it all easily. And they do it in PvP, unfortunately.
Well, and then the thing is, to counter that, right, they made everything do loads of damage as well, right? And that is not good, right? Because now, if you make even one mistake, you're gonna get pretty flattened, right? And like, you don't have to take my word for it, guys. Just like watch these ATs, right? Like, if people get caught out for even like if you watch even like a high end AT, it's basically you wait until someone gets caught, then everyone pounces on them, right? That's basically how it goes, right? Like what is it the meta in PvP is quite amusing right now. It's like you pick a target, you fucking kill him, and you snowball the game, right? And you just keep doing that until you win. It's quite amusing actually. And then you hope that the firebrand carries you, right? Like you hope that okay, if I die, that firebrand he better be on me, he better res me, right? Otherwise I'm fucked, and then you probably lose the game. All right, well, you don't lose the game, right? But you lose a really big advantage in the game, and that's just I don't think it's a good way for the. I don't think it's a good way for the game to be in. But to be honest, like that's enough complaining about the fucking balance patch, dude. Okay, like it was a really good patch in my opinion. It's given me a lot of fun to have, certainly in raids, right? Actually, I was really disappointed that it didn't shake up World vs. World a bit more, or try and bring Chrono back there as well. I think the idea of class synergies is a bit kind of memed out in World vs. World, unfortunately. Like, everything is very all classes are very much individual things in a group, right? It's a lot less synergy, right? And like team structuring and stuff like that, which is a bit disappointing. I find some of the most fun stuff for me is kind of coming up with weird synergies between all the classes, right? But yeah, and in terms of PvP, I think PvP needed more than that. I think PvP may actually suffer as a result of that. Like people, gonna not get that interested. They won't gain a lot of interest, which is unfortunate, right? In my opinion, it is unfortunate. We've got to wait a long time for another balance patch too, and that's an issue is the frequency. To be honest, like the
will we get the balance patch before the next raid? That's
will there be a next raid?
Well, yes, yeah, that's kind of what
there will be a next raid.
Yeah, that's what I wanted to get into actually, like a little bit as well. Is the kind of like what we think is going to actually go on. What the hell is actually going to happen here with this sort of thing? Because we are in a bit of a drought right now. It's been some time. Okay, it's been some time since anything has been added to the game, and we are expecting something soon because we know episode 6 is on the horizon. It's presumably coming with the raid. I believe it is actually.
Something 2 months ago.
I think it is actually.
2 months ago. Oh yeah. God.
Yeah, 2 months ago. Yeah.
Well, I'm pretty sure SAB is coming before the
with
next
no new
living
content
story.
because a person left.
Yeah. So SAB will probably be coming relatively soon, I guess. Well, I mean, when I say relatively soon, it'll be
either 1 or 3 weeks.
Yeah, like wait, when do you think it's going to come?
I always thought it was the first week of April.
Gem store for 1 more week. Or I think no. When was the balance patch?
Well, why would it come that early though? Like, surely it will come on like the 2nd of April, no?
Or a week earlier. Last time
So
they updated in March.
Okay, so 26th then, I guess.
Yeah.
And then it will linger around for a bit, and then
then we have another living story with maybe a raid in it, hopefully.
Well, I mean,
we can finish our coalescence.
And the legendary greatsword, huh?
Yeah, we'll finally have got to the end of the legendaries, right?
After.
Yeah, but SAB will run for like 2 weeks, I guess, or something like that, or 3 weeks.
I think it was 3 weeks last time.
Okay, 3 weeks. So that will be, well, I guess that will be gone by mid-April then, right? Okay, and then there'll probably be some downtime. Then it will be the patch, right? That is pretty feels bad, man. Like, it's pretty rip. It's ended on the 19th or 20th. Okay, so yeah, it's gonna end on say the 23rd or something like that. I guess like the 60th. Well, yeah, like the 23rd or something like that. But that means we still have like a month and a half before we get anything, man.
You can play SAB. It's fun. I
can't play SAB for 1.5 months. Oh man,
I can't play SAB for 1.5 minutes. It's fucking terrible.
Oh, I kind of like SAB. I'll definitely play through it once. I like Tribulation mode. Tribulation mode is fun.
Maybe.
Yeah, I like
have
SAB.
all the skins and all the infusions.
Yeah.
Maybe they'll add a new infusion.
Color. I don't think. Somehow I don't think SAB is going to get any updates. Unfortunately, that's probably not going to happen. SAB Super Adventure Box. It's actually a pretty. I think it's a pretty fun little mini game. Okay, but I don't know. But I guess not everyone likes it, and that's okay, guys.
You should get new weapon color thing.
Yeah.
We
Oh
got
yeah.
red last. Yeah.
Yeah. So time for
Purple,
RGB.
please.
Yeah, RGB. We need RGB. Yeah, because we need green now. There you go.
We already have green.
What do we?
For the infusion, yes.
Yeah.
For the weapons.
Yeah. What? Yeah. What do we have? What else do we have? No, wait, I don't know. So the
purple.
Purple. That'll be pretty good. Last year started on 29th Thursday of March. Okay, so it'll start at the end of the March then, and it will go into mid-April. But either way, guys, we've got a long ass time with nothing to do, and I really do feel for the PvP and World vs. World boys, because they're gonna have to wait like 3 months, right, for another patch to their game mode, unfortunately, and we know nothing about what's going to happen with the other stuff as well, right? We don't know if there's going to be. The only thing that could happen is another map for PvP, I guess, right? But then they haven't even pushed through Dominion of what is it called? Jin's Dominion, right? Yeah, like that hasn't really gone anywhere. It's not a thing. Yeah, it's not in ranked. No, it's only in unranked. It hasn't really been updated or changed or anything like that. So it's kind of. Yeah, we always don't know anything. I know, and that is very bad. Okay, we don't know what the fuck is going on. Okay, it's really sad. I particularly feel for the PvP and World vs. World boys, because I think that their game mode that game mode has not really been fixed and addressed that much by ArenaNet recently. And now it's going to be that for a long way. And I do feel that the population will continue to dwindle, unfortunately, in those game modes. When the mount runs out, the mount's novelty will wear off, and eventually everyone will have the mount. And then they're just going to go back to where they came from and just AFK.
Got it today. I'm fine.
Yeah. Okay. Yes. You got to get that mount, man. Then you just buy the skins, right? You can buy the skins.
Yes, it needs a skin. It's goddamn ugly.
Yeah.
Only one color.
Now, but we do know that there is going to be another Living Story season, okay, at some point. Living Story 5, okay, season 5 is gonna happen, guys. Okay, eventually, we're gonna get there in the end.
What I'm most hyped for is the trailer we'll get at the end of this new Living World episode that will hype us for season 5, possibly with like maybe some kind of like, here's the cool features that you'll expect in Living World season 5, and then we'll be like, oh shit, now we're hyped. But they gotta have something. It's gotta be something.
Yeah, that's definitely that's the biggest part of the next episode for me. The story will be something. I'm sure something will happen. It'll be extra exciting, right? But the most important thing is I really expect them to tease what's going to happen, like what's going to happen in the future at the end of the next episode, right? Like what is, that has actually typically happened, like in the seasons, the last episode in the season, right before the expansion, you do actually get some, usually get some kind of, a map or understanding what's going to happen. And I think in a few interviews, Mike Z has alluded to the fact that they want to add expansion level features, right?
Yeah, okay. Wonder why.
In these in the Living Story, right? So with any luck, we'll actually get some pretty major content coming up, and I hope they do change their approach with regards to the content in the game as well, because I don't know. I think that the way Living Story is right now, particularly the map design, it just really isn't cutting it. I think that the most obvious way to see this is that if a map isn't profitable anymore, people leave it and it's dead, right? Okay, it's hard dead. If it's not worth perma farming and it's not worth hard farming, like the content dies immediately, which basically means that no one really, no one really likes it, right? And I think that's true. I think a lot of the maps are very, very shallow, right? And have had a lot of their enjoyment stripped away from them. I hope we go back to a more of an HOT design in terms of open world, right? Like I've been playing some open world recently because it's actually a lot of fun to play, and I just never find myself taking my guild and going to do the Living Story ones because they're just trash, right? Why
the HOT metas were so good? They're just really good.
Yeah,
too much effort apparently.
Yeah,
too much
downtime
and too much downtime for like super casuals, the people that are like, I want to do Auric Basin right now, but it's not up for another 45 minutes. So I guess I got to go do something else. Like they just can't handle the downtime.
Yeah.
Whereas something's always happening in Domain of Istan or whatever. You can farm 24/7, go.
Yeah. That's it's a sad thing, but I mean, yeah, the expansion didn't have expansion level features. Well, let's see if Living Story 5 is going to be expansion level features, and that would, of course, basically be elite specializations and a bunch of new maps. So we're already getting new maps, okay? And I don't really predict them changing. I think it's basically going to be like the same old, pretty much forever, unfortunately. But when it comes to elite specializations, okay.
That's like the only thing they could do that's like an expansion level.
Yeah, that's it, right? I mean,
that's out of the ordinary.
So do you guys think we're going to see it, elite specializations in Season 5? You
one
don't?
by one. Until we get all elite specs in like 2 years.
So why don't you think we're going to see it, Nike?
I think if we assume that there's going to be 5 or 6 episodes, that would mean that there's going to be like 1 or 2 every episode. I just feel like people would be like super salty if they didn't get one of the early ones. Like, I don't know. Like, I would feel like kind of bad if like the profession I played like didn't get one till episode 6, and like everyone else has had theirs for like a year already. Like, that would feel kind of bad. Unless they rolled them out faster, like 4 per episode, and so you had them all by episode 2.
Yeah, that's the main hurdle, right? I think you've definitely hit the nail on the head. That the main hurdle is the fact that the actual delivery time for Living Story is it's long, right? So far we get an episode. Does anyone know the average time it's taken to get an episode? I mean, this one, it's like usually 3 to 4 months, right? At the end of the day, it's 3 to 4 months is how it goes typically. Right, as opposed to 2 to 3. Like the 2 to 3, if only it was 2 to 3, boys. So now we'd be talking, right? But it's 3 to 4 months, so it's going to take nearly 2 years to get all the elite specs if they do like 1.5 every episode, right? I mean that's not going to cut it. Otherwise, that guy, Necro will come last, obviously, because ArenaNet hates him. Okay, so you got to wait.
I mean, they should release Guardian and Necro last because versus the world.
Oh, so one of us want us to suffer the longest. Oh my.
No, but then the new shit is balancing their broken Scourge until, like, I don't know, Vampire comes out and just kills everything. Or sucks out everything in that case.
Depending how they're balanced, it could be catastrophic. Imagine if there wasn't a Scourge for Firebrand or Firebrand for Scourge and Wolfsword. Well, at least it would be different. I don't know. At least it would mix it up a bit. And think about it: the World vs. World meta might change every few months, right? Because something else broken comes out,
then.
right? That's easy content, dude. Easy content, right there, lads. Okay, that would be fucking good. But I do think they're forced to do it. I genuinely think they're actually forced to do it. Yeah, I
certainly wouldn't be surprised. Yeah. It just seemed. I don't know. I don't know. I wouldn't be hopeful about it, but I wouldn't be surprised if it happened either.
Yeah, I'm pretty confident.
Like if you pin your hopes on it and you're like, the game, I can only play the game if we get new elite specs next season, well then you might be quite disappointed to find out that there's not. But like if it's just a happy surprise and we get them, then great. Like that sounds fun too.
Yeah. And there is a good point in the chat raised actually about like how would you unlock it, right? Because there wouldn't be hero points. I guess they'd have to add a bunch of hero points, right? Stuff like that.
There are enough hero points in the game.
I guess
there are way too many. Yeah.
Do we have enough to unlock a full spec?
Technically, they would be POF specs because there's no new expansion, so you'd use POF hero points.
POF has like 42 or something. Yeah, because I have to add some. Like 8.
That wouldn't be hard.
Yeah. Well, on top of this as well, because of the recent, very unfortunate news, right, about the ArenaNet layoffs, do you think that Living Story Season 5 will actually just be the same? Like, I think that's the other option, right? Is that kind of what you'd maybe lean towards, Nike, then? I guess it's going to be like exactly the same as
my guess is that it was originally planned to be 6 episodes, and I would not be surprised if it's only 3 episodes now, with an expansion rushed out at the end of the 3rd. Like if they're not pushing an expansion, like they have to be pushing an expansion. So I would imagine that they need to make money, and that's how you do it. So I would guess that like they might have scrapped like the maybe not the last 3 episodes, but maybe like the last 2. and they're just like accelerating the plot line for that. But I don't think they can wait 2 years for an expansion. And Daddy NCSoft isn't going to be. They need their check.
Yeah, they need that money.
Month.
They need that cash. That's an interesting one. Do you think there's any way they would ever release an expansion midway through an episode? Say, do 3 episodes of season 5, expansion, then another 3 episodes. Do you think that
they can do anything? Yeah, I mean that's completely. If that's how they want to do it, they could do it.
They also can sell each episode alone for like €10 or something.
And expansions don't even necessarily have to be the same storyline. Like it doesn't have to be the continuing saga. Like an expansion could be like a side quest almost, or the living story could be a side quest. Like you know what I mean? Like they could be totally different plot lines that are happening at the same time. Especially if an expansion is in Cantha. Like you have like the main Tyria storyline that goes through living story, and then you have like this side quest that happens off in Cantha or wherever.
Like Krakatorik is stuck devouring the mist. Oh, let's go to Cantha. Doesn't really make sense.
Yeah, it makes perfect sense. It makes perfect sense.
No, it makes no sense.
Yeah.
Well, it's sort of like in Guild Wars 1 where like you could start in any of the campaigns and like you'd meet at the same place in the story in each one.
It's a different continent, different people.
Let's do that.
Yeah, it really is interesting, and thinking about what can potentially happen. But one thing that I would say is that now more than ever, we require communication. Okay, we need to know what the hell is going on. Do I think this is happening? I don't know why, guys, but I'm feeling particularly cynical today. Yeah, I don't know. I'm fucking tired. Okay, I need more sleep. That's the main problem here. Okay, like the lack of sleep brings out the cynicism in me. It really does. Now, I have no confidence whatsoever that we'll see any level of communication or transparency regarding like what's going to happen. Okay, but
yeah, we're not going to suddenly get a roadmap like completely laid out. No. Like here's every game mode, and here's our 2-year vision for the game mode. It's like, no, I don't think we're going to ever get that. Yeah. Not from ArenaNet. Like it's just not how they operate.
But I just think that that approach that you have just described there, like, is gonna like. It's gonna bite ArenaNet in the ass so hard, dude. Like it's already sunk its teeth into their soft buttock, if you ask me. Like the amount of uncertainty and like honestly ill will towards the entire game is just too much, right? Like it's I don't know, like I really wish we knew something, right? I think it's very, very bad. I think a lot of people are starting to go, oh, holy shit, dude, is this the beginning of the end? I really think ArenaNet need to step the fuck up, okay, and shut that down, okay? Because like this kind of atmosphere is actually what like melts confidence in the developers and in the game itself, right? I think we're seeing the decay of the community as a result of uncertainty, right? And I don't know, I think it would be a big mistake not to deal with this. But then again, as someone pointed out, I don't have a degree in communications and marketing, so what the fuck do I know? Okay, I suppose.
Do they? Yeah. Does their head of head of marketing? I don't know. I mean, they must have one, but like, I feel like with the video game industry, like. You get in any way you can. Like you're like, look, I'll be the guy that mops the bathroom floor, and then like you do a good job at that, and you just get promoted to some position that you're not qualified for, and then you're there for 10 years, and all of a sudden you're the head of that department, and it's like you have no qualification. Like I feel like that happens a lot in the video game industry. Like people like just I'm the guy who polices the official forums. And then, like 10 years later, you're the like head of PR. You just survive long enough, and you get promoted until you eventually reach the position of what? Isn't there like a theory, like a business theory, where you eventually get promoted until you're in an incompetent position? Like I forget what it's called. It's like the Peter Principle or something like that, where everyone in the world gets promoted. Like everyone is good at their job and they get a promotion, and they're good at their job and they get a promotion until eventually they get promoted to a job they're not good at, and that's where you get stuck.
Oh no!
So everyone in the world is incompetent because they're all in a position that they're not good enough for.
That is kind of funny.
Yeah.
Yeah, it is. Yeah. I mean, that's quite that's an interesting theory. Okay, an interesting theory. So if I don't think the community is dying, I think we just get a false impression because our friends quit, but the game is doing better than it did half a year ago. Honestly, not sure about that. I'm not. I would love to see stats on this. I would love to see stats just to kind of like assuade my fears. Honestly, I mean, hey, dude, like NC Soft are pretty, like they're going on people. They're like smushing people. They're smushing ArenaNet, right? It's like, oh no, it's not good. And I don't know. I think there has been a deterioration in the scene. I mean, certainly in if you look at like raids and PvP, like those are the ones where it's most apparent, in my opinion. Like, it's pretty fucking rip, if you ask me. Like, the game it's certainly in the circles that I find myself in. It's definitely a little slow, unfortunately, and just kind of like folding in on itself. I don't know. Like the financial statistics aren't great either, right? For ArenaNet right now, but. I don't know. I really like this game, and I don't want it to die. I don't want people to think it's dying either, because actually that's just as bad. I've taken to going on some other forums as well, like going on like the MMORPG subreddit, and oh boy, dude, no one has any fucking idea. Okay, about oh goddamn, like yeah, no one has got any idea what this game's actually about, right? Like.
Yeah, they have ideas from 2012. They're like, yeah, I played that game. It sucks. And then like you're like, well, what sucks about it? And they tell you some bullshit that hasn't been true since like September of 2012. Like a lot of the opinions are outdated that people have of Guild Wars 2.
Yeah,
that's I don't know.
It feels very fucking bad. I don't know. Okay, I'll tell you what.
It's just like if you're a politician, how do you reach these low information voters? Like the people that are like cut off from like the news or cut off from like civic conversation and have like no intelligent people to talk to. Like how do you reach them? It's like how do you reach these ignorant gamers who like don't have access to news? Like that's like reliable. Like I don't know. Like the PR department has their work cut out for them, if they exist.
Yeah, I tell you what though, right? There's one final approach. Okay, Guild Wars 3.
Unplug the servers.
Are we going Guild Wars 3? Are we going Guild Wars 3, boys? Okay, is there any way there's going to be Guild Wars 3? Right? Because honestly, I think the current. I think we need radical change, to be honest. We need radical change, and I think Living Story it's already got stale, in my opinion. I don't think there are a lot of people. Even Deroya, even fucking Deroya Gaming, the most positive man on the planet, okay, doesn't like Living Story at this point. Okay, the Ultra PMA, okay, Lord, all right, and he doesn't like it. If he does, look, guys, I'm just gonna say this, right? If Deroya doesn't like Guild Wars 2, they fucked up. Okay, right? Seriously, that you really fucked up at that point, right? So, will there be? Do you think ArenaNet right now is working on a new IP? Right? Are they being forced into it, perhaps? Right, as a result of the NC Soft meme, right? Will there be a new video game coming out from ArenaNet? What do you guys think about that?
Not anytime soon, I don't think.
No,
I think there could have been, but I think they both got canceled. Like
no,
from what we know.
Yes. Yeah. Oh, it would take them 6 years from now anyway. If it was 6 years, then Brazil would be right. Brazil says Guild Wars 3. Brazil says Guild Wars 3 is scheduled to come out in 2026, dude. Let's see if he's right. Okay. Let's see if he's right.
What a modified version of Guild Wars 3.
No. The interesting thing about a sequel is that it would not translate their player base over very well at all. right? Because I think the kind of players that play Guild Wars 2, the more casual audience who, you know, you want to have kind of an easy time, like a bit of a good time, just having a bit of fun, right? They wouldn't want to start again, right? The whole starting again thing would be very jarring for a lot of the player base, I think. So maybe Guild Wars 3 will be a very tough sell, right, in that regard, right? It would have to kind of attract a different player base, right? It would have to attract a different player base.
Teapot?
Yeah, what's up?
6 years twice.
6 years twice. So yeah, you think 12 years it's going to be? Is that what?
Yes.
Yeah, let's go. We have to wait until like 2031 for Guild Wars 3. And how about
No.
that? Guild Wars 2.5. Yeah, I don't know. I'm just not sure I see anything changing. Like I really want to see big change in the game, but I think it's just gonna keep being the same, right? I hate to be I hate to be a Debbie Downer, guys. Okay, but I just don't see anything changing at this point. Like, we're always talking about this. We're always talking about like, oh boy, I'm so ready for this next patch. This next patch is gonna fucking change everything, man. But then it never does, dude. It never does. It's always the same shit, dude. Every time, right? I don't know. I just want to hear this shit. Wait, Nico's...
Yes, oh Debbie word? What Debbie word? We're missing.
That's an interesting one, actually. I think, isn't like the Nike song basically based on that kind of situation there, actually? But
we don't need to get into it.
Yeah, you know, we should not get into that at all, okay? No, absolutely not. But, yeah, I don't know. You can bring your character. That would be pretty cool, actually. That's such a cool idea, though, Mela.
Then that's already everything. Wow, what is that?
Oh my god, you got to bring your character. That would be sick, dude.
Well, they sold us like
awkward balance.
They told us like with Hall of Monuments that like when they first announced Hall of Monuments for Guild Wars 1, they were like, yeah, all your progress that you've made in your Guild Wars 1 account, you won't lose. You'll be able to bring it over. And it's like, we got like bullshit skins. Like some bullshit skins that like no one has ever used. Like
the Let's Dagger?
You get the titles, though. You can get God Walking Amongst Immortals, which is pretty cool.
Like the only one that's good, I guess. Although the 50 out of 50 one's also good. But...
Yeah, what's that one? Yeah. Legend.
Now that's the sad thing. The 50 out of 50 title and God Walking Amongst Mere Mortals are the two most prestigious PvE titles in Guild Wars 2, and they have nothing to do with content from Guild Wars 2. Like, that's super sad for what title it should be.
Yeah, it's good. That's good. It's good content, right? You can just go back and play Guild Wars 1 for the easy content. I don't know. I don't know. Yeah, I don't really. How do other companies do this, right? Like, how do you make a new?
You don't. You just keep milking World of Warcraft for years.
Yeah. Like, is there any MMO that was very successful in doing this, in the transition between this? I guess Guild Wars 1 did pretty well. Like Guild Wars 1 to Guild Wars 2, like ArenaNet like started with Guild Wars 1, then they did a very successful transition to Guild Wars 2, and they did actually do that reset. Like, in a way, like a full reset would actually be really appealing to me at this point as well, right? Like the ultimate change would be to have something new, right? You know what I mean? Like to have that transition and go and continue the adventure, but in a different game with like fully renewed mechanics in the same universe. Like having the same universe is certainly really appealing, and to a certain extent, like I cling on to Guild Wars 2 because in a way I do have a good chunk of faith in ArenaNet. Actually, I think they do have the potential to accomplish greatness. It's whether they'll actually reach to the stars or not. You know, it's yeah, I want the max potential Guild Wars 2. Yeah, I'm just not sure if that's going to happen, Sigurd, man. Like that's what I was just saying. I just don't see it happening at this point. I think the only way you'll see max potential ArenaNet is a new game at this point. Like, I think I would actually say that. Yeah, I think I would actually say that. I think I would actually say that the only way you'll see ArenaNet at their best is probably like a new game at this point. I don't think there's enough. I don't even know if it's even possible to like rework Guild Wars 2 to the point where it will be max potential. I think it's the way it appears, it's incredibly annoying to develop. It seems very difficult to make any changes, right? Okay. And it's also a little bit outdated, and the community is like very resistant to change as well. So It's like the trifecta of impossibilities for the developers. I don't know. I think I do not envy anyone at ArenaNet right now. Okay, I bet that is one hell of a job to try and fix this mess. Honestly, it's not going to be easy. I think it's borderline impossible to sort this clown fiesta out. So fair play to them. Actually, I do think ArenaNet are good devs fundamentally, right? Like I think whenever they deliver something, it's always really good. Like whenever a new raid comes out, it's like nice, okay, very good, okay, very good stuff, okay, I like it. But again, it just seems like it takes so long to implement this stuff. It's so difficult to make change that it's just not enough, right? It doesn't really it's yeah. I think we need something fresh. And that's why I'm on the lookout for other games, right? I don't know, like yeah, feels bad. I don't want to be, right? A roadmap would alleviate that, in my opinion.
They definitely won't give a roadmap, but they definitely should. Like, they should go, look, there will be an expansion, and it'll be after X amount of Living Story Season 5. Just to give people the light at the end of the tunnel, like, that there is, like, that it is coming, you know? Like, that would be very helpful. But even then, like... Yeah. What's an expansion gonna have? Like maps? Like we have enough maps. Like we have enough. I mean, story. I don't know. Like it's hard to tell like what we would get from an expansion that like besides the elite specs. Like, and we don't need an expansion for elite specs. But I don't know. But a roadmap would definitely be good.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely, 100%. I think it's pretty much necessary. The light at the end of this tunnel is a massive gun. Look what happened to Mello when he quit Guild Wars 2, dude. Like, this is what's happened to him, okay? Look, he's getting the gun now.
Streamer, hopping from game to game.
He wants the gun now, okay?
Mello, a just chatting streamer.
Yes. Yeah. Wow, just chatting? I think he was playing Dead Space 3 as well. A bit of Dead Space in there as well. Now, I don't know. The biggest threat to Guild Wars 2 is like another MMO coming out, right? Like that's. But then again, even maybe not. Like I think Guild Wars 2 has really captivated the casual market. I think that all the other MMOs like probably wouldn't go for that. I don't know.
No one else is developing a AAA MMO besides Amazon, if you believe that New World is never going to ship. But yeah. I certainly don't have a lot of hope that New World will ever see retail.
It's gonna be a while, right? You know, it's gonna be a while, and you know, same with Ashes, right? Ashes of Creation. That's gonna be
It's not a AAA title.
Yeah. Well, I don't know. They want to make it AAA quality.
It's a cash grab, TeaPot. Realize it.
It's not a. Well, you guys are like A Omega little C. Like, why are you guys doing that shit? Yeah,
because they know.
Mods, ban the A Omega little C.
No, I tolerate that.
Guys, one more A Omega little C, and I quit Guild Wars 2. Okay, I'm fucking done. Okay, yeah, I am done. If you guys put that shit in the chat, okay? Yeah, A Omega little BR.
Thanks, guys.
A Teapot he see. Wow, nice to me. Wow. Oh yeah, real clever guys, real clever chat.
Like to be honest, like I think Path of Exile had a new expansion like on Friday or something. That's what people should be playing. I don't even play that game, and I think it's like well developed.
New expansion again?
Yeah, apparently there was an expansion.
I just remember Rocker playing it some days ago, being super bored while playing it. Oh.
Wow. I would say the combat system isn't like the most amazing. It's kind of just like the spammy Diablo style where you just press buttons and make a lot of effects and run around.
Yeah. Honestly.
But the build craft is interesting with it.
Yeah.
Like, that's probably the most
it's very
the thing that
right?
like is very interesting. Like you can make your character like any way. There's something about that. But I would also go insane playing a game like that because I'd be like, because there's no such thing as best in slot. Like it's just infinitely customizable. So it's just like you never get that satisfied feeling of where it's like this character is done. You know, like I'm at the top of at least like I could deal with a gear treadmill game if I could actually get to the end of the treadmill at least for like a little while. But you can never do that with Path of Exile. So like I would just be like I would either like get sucked into it and like become homeless, because I had devoted all my time to it, or I would just like get super mad at it and like flame it. And...
Yeah.
So I don't know.
Oh, I don't know, dude. I don't know. I really, I want Guild Wars 2 to be good. I want it to reach its potential, and I want to keep playing this game, you know. That's why I'm still here, right? I do have a lot of confidence, and I don't like being too negative, right? I think it really sucks. I think, you know, it's on us as the players to make the best out of the situation, boys, that we find ourselves in. And I really do love the game. Like, Guild Wars 2 is incredible. Like, if there's the one way I would describe Guild Wars 2, it is truly ahead of its time, right? Like, the reason Guild Wars 2 is able to survive is because of how good it is mechanically, right? While also not being pay to win as well. Like, that's why something like that's why BDO hasn't been able to like kind of punch Guild Wars 2 off its top spot, right? In like the big three of MMOs, you know what I mean? It's because like Guild Wars 2 has that combination of an incredibly fair business model, okay, and extremely good mechanics, right? It really is ahead of its time. Like, no, even modern games coming out now, like more modern MMOs, okay, just don't have the mechanics, right, of Guild Wars 2. BDO makes more money. Yeah, I don't doubt that, dude. I absolutely don't doubt that. I think Guild Wars 2 is more popular than BDO. Yeah, I think so. I think I'm correct. Or am I wrong? Or am I crazy? I feel like the big three of MMOs Guild Wars 2, WoW, and ESO? Or am I crazy there? Or maybe I'm wrong.
Final Fantasy.
Oh yeah, and Final Fantasy as well. Yeah, that's some good shit right there. Okay, that's some big memes. Okay, yeah, BDO is bigger. Oh well, fair enough then. WoW, Final Fantasy, ESO top 3. Oh yeah, okay. Well, I'm not really paying attention, guys. I'm not gonna lie, dude. I'm not really paying attention. Okay.
Yeah, we are low information gamers who don't go to r/MMORPG. We don't keep up.
Yeah,
like,
I know. I'm not keeping up with this shit, dude. I'm not keeping up with this. But I genuinely believe that Guild Wars 2 is still very much ahead of its time, right? It really is. Even now, maybe they just flew too close to the sun and their wings got burnt off, but I really want this game to kind of live up to its true potential, and it really makes me sad. You want a British MMO? You know what you want to do, dude? RuneScape, okay?
MMO, what?
Old school RuneScape, man.
Ultima
Homegrown
Online.
UK. Nice. Okay.
Okay,
Yeah.
from location, not the theme of it.
Yeah. But it's a real shame that, in my opinion, the game has stagnated, right, in terms of the way the content is, the development cycle. I think the lack of communication is really fucking them over. But the game is really good, right? This is what's annoying. I've said this before, but I genuinely wish that Guild Wars 2 would just become bad, right? Okay? No, I don't, but, you know, I ironically wish that. Because, like, you know, at least if it was bad, I could say it was bad.
Like, get rid of dodging. That way you have an excuse to quit. Like,
yeah.
oh, they got rid of the dodge button. Too complicated for people.
Yeah. I don't look. Come on. I wish Bick was right, Brandon. Okay. Like, thing is, like, Bick. I wish Bick was right, but he isn't. Right. The game is very good, and that's the problem. That's why it's so difficult to quit, because the game's actually good. If it was bad, it would be easy to quit. But that's the problem. It's very good, and that's kind of. I don't know. That's a place where I don't know. I think we're done. We're getting the fuck out of this one, dude. TeaTime is done.
Abort
TeaTime. It's too much. It's not PMA anymore, guys. I'm sad.
Super sad.
No, it's super sad. It's got to be ultra PMA, guys. Okay, that's what we need. Okay, ultra PMA. But yeah, I don't know. The game is awesome. ArenaNet, please live up to your potential, my friend. Okay, live up. Go. Develop the game. Make it good. Raids, good content, epic open world events, balance the fucking PvP, okay? Just do it. Just fix it. Just come on, make it. Come on. I hate Guild Wars 2 so much, I almost have to Khalid, you're like a big ass troll, aren't you? Okay? Like, always like hard trying. Also, speaking of trolling, do you guys see this? Like, Angels unironically tricked a bunch of people into thinking that I got unpartnered. Did you see this?
Not really?
Okay. Yeah. He reposted the Teapot is unpartnered crab rave video, and then he actually baited a load of people, even not in Salt Discord. Like, Frosty sent me a screenshot of people in other Discords getting baited into like thinking that I'm unpartnered. I'm like I'm quitting the game.
Maybe you are unpartnered and just don't admit it.
Holy shit!
Who knows?
Whoa!
Maybe I know more, and you are actually unpartnered.
What are you trying to say?
And I have your spot now.
Okay, what are you saying?
Nothing.
Yeah.
Absolutely nothing.
Yeah. But anyway, I think we're done with this shit, dude. Let's get the fuck out of here. All right, so it's time to chill a little bit before we run away and fit. No, I'm not talking about the Azura comics. I will not mention degeneracy,
don't.
guys. Like raw degeneracy is not endorsed on this stream, guys. Okay.
There was like a series of comics that were like mad that Asuras didn't have boobs. Is that like where we're at? Like that's like what it was? Oh my god.
Well,
Like,
it's more than that though. It's also about the Azura. There's the penetration gyro. Okay.
There's also a tentacle thing once. No. I don't understand those things. Like, it's above me.
And the fact that those became like the top posts on Reddit just shows the level of degeneracy that we have to overcome.
Yeah.
Like there's. Is the next one gonna be like Chars don't have big enough nut sacks? Like, is that like gonna be like the next comic?
Oh dear, it's like, oh my goodness. I mean, what are we dealing with here, guys? What are we dealing with here? But anyway, let's get the hell out of here. Thanks for watching, guys. It's time to do the subscribing thing, okay? Everyone subscribe, but also more importantly, Nike. Tell us a little bit about yourself while you're here, okay? Let's fucking go.
I hardly stream Guild Wars 2 anymore, but I still make YouTube content. I have 2 more open world builds to do before I move on to some other topic. And then I race bikes online on Zwift. Every Monday I have a race, and then every other day I have training rides. So if that interests you, you can come check it out. Most competitive PvP game, MMO, on the market is Zwift. Insanely competitive.
Yeah.
So,
no, that is true.
out.
I mean, it is. You even done some strategy guide. I think there was like a Zwift time trial strategy guide. Recently.
Yeah.
How to win.
But that's like
game.
an IRL strat. Like that same strategy you'll win in real life too.
So it's multi-purpose then. Oh, that's pretty good then, right? Where the fuck is Nico actually? What the fuck? Wait, god damn it.
Wow.
Yeah.
Thank you,
I don't know. I don't know why it didn't appear.
We need to get some subs to Nico here so he can get a custom URL.
Yeah.
I have one, but it doesn't show up for some reason.
Oh, okay. Yeah, because you've got you only need like 100 subs, right? So it's all good.
Yes, exactly.
But anyway, that's it, guys. Moving on to Snow Crow's Nico. Okay.
Yes.
What do you?
I raid every single day. I'm hard stuck in the game.
Yep.
There's nothing better on the market. I'm sad. I'm just waiting for a better game. Sub to me on YouTube. Follow me on Twitch for no reason, but still do it. Thanks. Mela, can you please link my Twitch? Thanks.
There we go. Oh, yeah. Mela is our Twitch. He's the new Twitch bot. Okay, that's how he's employed. But yeah. And then fine. Well, also there's Roy, guys. Roy, he's just there as a giant face, but definitely check him out. He's actually streaming a fair bit now. More, he's streaming GVG, okay, from like Mesmer, Guardian, or Scrapper POV. Usually, you guys, so definitely check that out. He's a very good lad, supporting the world versus world scene and the GVG scene in particular. So yeah, definitely check out Roy, guys. He's linked. Everyone's linked below the stream. Even Nico is linked there, I think. So yeah, make sure I check that shit out, guys. Okay, boom. Okay, and then finally it's me. I am the most hard stuck player, okay, in Guild Wars 2 by far. Okay,
Wooden Potatoes is in there. He is
true.
Deep.
Yeah. What do you guys think? Who's more hard stuck, me or Wooden Potatoes?
I think you could switch to another game and people would follow.
Yeah, I would watch you.
But I think if Wooden Potatoes switched to Final Fantasy, he would get downvoted to oblivion, and his Patreon would dry up, and he'd have to get a real job.
Oh no! Wait.
Now, I'm not saying that he's a bad content creator. I just think that his audience is the type of audience that only cares about Guild Wars 2, and they wouldn't follow to a different game. And that's nothing about him, but it's just the case that like his lifestyle and all that is very tied to Guild Wars 2.
Fair enough. But yeah, I'm hard stuck as well, guys, so be sure to come back and watch every single day for the dank Guild Wars 2 meme content, guys, okay? So yeah, follow the stream, subscribe to the stream, give me that cash, follow on Twitter.
I just unlocked a new achievement on Twitch.
Go on, oh really? Oh, nice, nice.
Yeah, it's so
What was the achievement? What was the achievement for deleting?
On the followers.
Oh, nice. Yeah. Subscribe, follow on YouTube, okay? Follow on Twitter as well. All that good stuff. I'll be back every
Summer's
single
coming,
day.
get a scarf.
Yeah,
It's a fashionable
exactly.
item.
Make sure you get that scarf and get scarf gameplay, guys. It's really important. But yeah, that's all from us for today, guys. So thank you guys so much for watching. Really hope you enjoyed the stream, and it wasn't too anti-PMA. Okay. I will see you guys next time, and well, this is where it ends for you here on YouTube, guys. I'm getting the hell out of it. Be sure to follow and subscribe to everyone here, guys. Links below, below the channel and below the YouTube video as well. So be sure to check that out, guys. And I will see you all next time. Thanks for watching, my friends. Goodbye, YouTube. Get the hell out of here. Okay? Shoo.
Where's the Gardim guide?